Ancient words that attract miracles instantly. Introduction. What if you held the key to unlocking a better reality? Not through struggle, but through sound. What if certain ancient words, spoken and felt with intention, could instantly shift your inner world, and in doing so begin to reshape your outer world? This is not magic in the way of fairy tales, but it is magical in its effects. This book is a journey into the power of sacred sounds, words that have vibrated through centuries, holding the power to bring peace, clarity, love, and abundance. We will explore why these words work, how they work, and how you can use them, starting today, to attract the small and large miracles waiting for you. The first miracle is the one that happens inside you, and it can happen in an instant. This journey is not about changing who you are. It is about remembering who you have always been, a powerful creator with the ability to tune your reality to the frequency of your choosing. The universe is singing a beautiful song, and these words are the key to finally hearing the music and singing along. Chapter 1. The universe is listening, the science of vibration and intention. Before there was light, before there were stars, before there was anything you could see or touch, there was a hum, a vibration, a sound. This is not just poetry, it is a profound truth recognized by both ancient mystics and modern scientists. The universe is not a silent, empty void with things floating in it. The universe itself is a grand cosmic symphony of vibration. Everything, from the chair you are sitting on, to the light entering your window, to the very thoughts inside your head, is a form of energy vibrating at a specific frequency. You are not a solid object moving through a dead world. You are a vibrational being living in a vibrational ocean of energy. Once you grasp this fundamental truth, the world no longer looks the same. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become a conductor of your own energy, with the power to change the tune of your life. Your voice, your thoughts, and your feelings are the instruments. The ancient words we will explore are the sheet music, a divine composition written to bring harmony to your soul. Let us begin by looking at something tangible, something you can see. Imagine a thin metal plate. Now let us sprinkle a fine layer of white sand evenly across its surface. It looks random, a meaningless collection of tiny grains. Now imagine we connect this plate to a speaker that can play a single, pure musical tone. We turn on the speaker, and a low hum begins to vibrate the plate. At first, nothing much happens, but as we slowly increase the pitch, the frequency of the vibration, something miraculous occurs. The sand, which was once scattered chaos, begins to move. It shivers and dances, and as if guided by an invisible hand, it arranges itself into a beautiful, intricate geometric pattern. A perfect mandala, like a snowflake or a flower, appears in the sand. If we change the frequency, the pattern dissolves and a new, equally complex and beautiful pattern forms. This is not a trick. This is a real scientific phenomenon called cymatics, the study of how sound creates form. It is the physical, undeniable proof that vibration is not just an abstract concept. It is a creative force. It organizes chaos into coherence. It brings beauty and order out of randomness. Now take a moment and let that sink in. If a simple sound wave can turn a random pile of sand into a work of art, what do you think the sound waves you create can do? What forms are you creating with the words you speak, the thoughts you think, and the emotions you feel every single day? The ancient spiritual traditions of the world knew this intuitively. They did not have oscilloscopes and frequency generators, but they had deep inner wisdom. In the ancient texts of India, the Vedas, it is said that the universe is Nada Brahma, which translates to the universe is sound. They taught that a single primordial sound, a sacred vibration, was the source from which all of creation emerged. In the Christian tradition, the Gospel of John begins with a strikingly similar concept. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Greek word used here is logos, which means more than just a spoken word. It means the divine principle of reason and creative order. It implies that the very fabric of reality was spoken into existence. The ancient Egyptians believed their god Thoth, the god of wisdom, created the world by the power of his voice alone. Across cultures, across continents, across thousands of years, humanity has held this same core belief. Sound creates, vibration organizes. This is not a coincidence. It is a fundamental truth of our reality that we are only just beginning to rediscover through modern science. So when you feel stuck, when your life feels chaotic and disordered like that first pile of scattered sand, remember the power of cymatics. You have within you the ability to generate a new frequency. You have the power to speak a new word, a sacred word, that can begin to vibrate through the field of your life and organize the chaos into a new, more beautiful pattern. You are not powerless. You are a broadcaster of energy, and the world around you is constantly responding to the signal you are sending out. The first step to attracting miracles is to become conscious of the vibrations you are already creating. Let us bring this down from the cosmic to the personal. How does this work inside your own body and mind? Let us talk about your brain. Your brain is an electrochemical organ that produces measurable electrical pulses. We call these brain waves, and they change depending on what you are doing and how you are feeling. We can categorize these brain waves into 4 main states. And to make it simple, let us think of them as gears in a car. The first gear is the beta state. This is your wide-awake mind. It is where most of us spend our waking hours. When you are working, analyzing a problem, worrying about a deadline, or having a stressful conversation, your brain is humming along in the beta frequency. It is fast, active, and focused on the external world. It is necessary for functioning in our busy lives, but it is also the source of anxiety, stress, and overthinking. Living constantly in beta is like driving your car everywhere in first gear. It is inefficient, it burns a lot of fuel, and it puts a tremendous strain on the engine. You feel wired, tired, and your mind never stops racing. This is the state of the monkey mind, jumping from one thought to the next without rest. The next gear is the alpha state. This is a much more relaxed and creative frequency. You enter the alpha state when you are daydreaming, lightly meditating, or engrossed in an activity you love like painting, gardening, or taking a peaceful walk in nature. The chatter of the beta mind begins to quiet down. Your focus turns inward. This is the state of relaxed awareness, where new ideas and intuitive insights can bubble up to the surface. It is the bridge between your conscious mind and your deeper subconscious mind. Getting into alpha is like shifting your car into a smooth cruising gear on an open highway. It is effortless and calm. Then there is the theta state. This is a deeper state of relaxation and meditation. You typically experience theta waves in the moments just before you fall asleep or just as you are waking up. It is the state of deep meditation, hypnosis, and vivid imagination. In theta, your mind is highly receptive to suggestion and new learning. This is the realm of the subconscious mind, where your deeply held beliefs and memories are stored. Accessing theta consciously is like pulling over to a beautiful scenic viewpoint. You are not driving anymore. You are simply absorbing the profound beauty of your inner landscape. Finally, there is the delta state. This is the slowest brainwave frequency, associated with deep, dreamless sleep. It is the state of complete unconsciousness and is essential for the body's physical healing and regeneration. This is like parking your car in the garage for the night, allowing the engine to completely cool down and repair itself. So what does this have to do with ancient words? When you chant a mantra or repeat a sacred word, you are performing an act of spiritual technology that has a direct physiological effect on your brain. The repetitive, rhythmic nature of chanting is a powerful tool to consciously shift your own gears. When you start to chant, your busy beta brain, which is used to flitting between dozens of different thoughts, is given a single, simple, resonant point of focus. It does not know what to do at first. It might resist. You might think, "This is silly. What am I doing?" But as you persist, something remarkable happens. The mantra acts like an anchor. The monkey mind, which was jumping from branch to branch, now has one sturdy branch to hold on to. The frantic energy of the beta waves begins to slow down. You shift gears. You gently guide your brain out of the stressful first gear and into the calm, creative cruise of the alpha state. Scientists have studied this. They have put monks and long-term meditators under brain scanners and have seen this shift happen in real time. But it is not just for experts. Even for a beginner, the effect is noticeable. The simple act of repeating a word like peace or calm for just a few minutes can reduce the production of stress hormones like cortisol. It can slow your heart rate. It can lower your blood pressure. And it stimulates something called the vagus nerve, a long nerve that runs from your brain down into your body, connecting to your heart, lungs, and digestive system. The vagus nerve is the main highway of your body's relaxation response. When you chant or hum, the vibrations in your throat and chest literally massage and activate this nerve, sending a signal to your entire body that says, it is safe to relax, all is well. Think about a woman named Clara. Clara is a manager at a busy company. Her days are a constant barrage of emails, meetings, and deadlines. Her mind is always on, always in beta. She wakes up feeling tired, drinks coffee to get going, and collapses at the end of the day feeling drained. Her shoulders are always tense, and she has frequent headaches. She hears about the power of chanting and, though skeptical, decides to try it. One morning, before checking her phone, she sits on the edge of her bed and for 5 minutes she simply chants the word AUM, which we will explore later. At first, her mind rebels. It throws her to-do list at her. It reminds her of an angry email she needs to answer. It tells her she is wasting her time, but she gently brings her focus back to the sound, to the vibration in her chest. After a few minutes, she notices something. The frantic checklist in her head has quieted down. Her shoulders feel a little less like they are attached to her ears. A tiny space has opened up in her mind. She keeps doing it, every morning. After a week, she notices she is not reaching for that second cup of coffee. She handles a difficult meeting with a calm she did not know she possessed. After a month, her headaches are gone. Clara has not changed her job. The emails and deadlines are still there. But she has changed her inner state. She has learned how to shift her own gears. She has used an ancient word to reclaim her inner peace. The miracle was not that her job became easier. The miracle was that she became stronger, calmer, and more resilient. She learned that she is not at the mercy of her circumstances. She is the master of her own inner frequency. This power is available to you right now. You do not need to be a monk in a cave. You just need your own voice and the willingness to try. This brings us to the third and perhaps most powerful element of this inner technology, the power of your focus. We have talked about the universe being vibration and how your own sounds can change your brainwaves. But what directs this power? What is the steering wheel for this energetic car? It is your intention. It is the focused power of your attention. In the strange and wonderful world of quantum physics, there is a concept called the observer effect. In very simple terms, scientists discovered that at the tiniest subatomic level, the very act of observing a particle changes how it behaves. When no one is looking, a particle can act like a wave of pure potential, existing in multiple places at once. But the moment an observer measures it, it collapses into a single definite particle in a single place. The act of paying attention to it forces it to make a choice. Now, we are not saying that you can stare at your empty bank account and make money appear. It is not that literal. But this scientific principle is a perfect metaphor for a profound spiritual truth. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. The reality you experience is profoundly shaped by what you choose to focus on. Your focused awareness is the most powerful creative force you possess. Think about your life as a vast garden. There are seeds for everything in this garden. Seeds of joy, seeds of fear, seeds of abundance, seeds of lack, seeds of health, and seeds of illness. Your attention is the water. Whatever seeds you choose to water are the ones that will grow. If you spend all day focusing on your worries, your fears, and what is wrong with your life, you are diligently watering the weeds of lack and despair. And then you look around and wonder why your garden is full of weeds. You get what you focus on. The ancient words and mantras in this book are not just pretty sounds. They are tools of focus. They are anchors for your attention. When you choose to repeat a word that means peace or love, you are consciously choosing to take your attention off of the chaos and place it on the peace. You are taking the water away from the weeds of anxiety and pouring it onto the flower of tranquility. You are not denying that the weeds exist. You are simply choosing not to give them your life-giving energy. This is a critical distinction. This is not about spiritual bypassing or pretending problems do not exist. It is about choosing where you place your creative power. Let us imagine a man named Leo. Leo is a talented musician who dreams of getting a record deal. For years, all he can think about is his lack of a deal. He focuses on the rejection letters. He compares himself to other successful musicians. He worries that he is not good enough. His attention, his precious water, is all being poured on the seeds of not enough. As a result, his music starts to sound forced and desperate. The joy is gone. He is watering the weeds and his garden is withering. Then one day he has a realization. He remembers why he started playing music in the first place, for the pure joy of it. He makes a conscious decision. He says to himself, "For the next month, I will not think about a record deal at all. I will only focus on the feeling of love and joy I get when I play my guitar." He uses a simple mantra before he plays, "I am joy." He pours all of his focused attention into the act of creation itself. His energy shifts. The desperation leaves his music and is replaced by a palpable sense of passion and authenticity. He is watering the flowers of joy and creativity, and his garden begins to bloom. He plays at a small local cafe one night, not to get discovered, but simply to share his joy. A woman in the audience is a music producer. She is not there looking for talent. She is just meeting a friend. But she feels the energy of his music. She feels the authenticity. It is not desperate, it is alive. She approaches him after his set. The miracle was not the record deal. The miracle happened a month before when Leo decided to change his focus. The external world simply rearranged itself to match his new internal vibration. This is the observer effect in action in your life. By choosing where you place your attention, you are collapsing the infinite waves of potential into a specific reality. Are you focusing on the problem or the solution? Are you focused on the illness or on wholeness? Are you focused on the lack or on the gratitude for what you have? The ancient words are your allies in this. They are your focusing lens. When your mind is scattered and you are watering all the weeds by default, you can consciously pick up one of these words. You can use it to gather your scattered attention, like a magnifying glass gathering sunlight, and focus it with laser-like precision on the reality you wish to create. You begin with the inner reality. You use the word to create a feeling of peace inside you right now, even if the world outside is chaotic. You use a word to create a feeling of love for yourself, even if you are feeling lonely. You use a word to create a feeling of wholeness, even if you are feeling broken. You are the creator. Vibration is your clay, sound is your tool, and your focused intention is your hand guiding it all. The universe is not separate from you, judging you or granting you wishes. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back to you the vibration you are emitting. It is not personal, it is physics. Change your vibration, and the reflection must change. The journey of this book is to give you the most powerful, time-tested tools to become a master of your own vibration, to stop being the scattered sand and become the beautiful, coherent pattern, to stop being at the mercy of the storm and become the calm, unshakable eye of it. The universe is listening. It is time to speak a new language, the language of miracles. Chapter 2. Clearing the static, preparing your mind for miracles. Imagine for a moment that the universe is a grand radio broadcasting station. It is called Radio Universe, and it is on the air 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never stops. This station does not play just one kind of music. It has an infinite number of frequencies, and on each frequency, a different reality is being broadcast. There is a frequency for joy, where the music is light, effortless, and full of laughter. There is a frequency for abundance, where the songs are about infinite supply, opportunity, and overflowing gratitude. There is a frequency for profound peace, a broadcast of such serene and calm harmony that just listening to it soothes every cell in your body. There are frequencies for vibrant health, for deep love, for creative inspiration. The miracles you seek, the better reality you dream of, are not things you have to create from scratch. They already exist. They are being broadcast right now, available to anyone who can tune in. Now, you were born with a perfect receiver. Your mind, your body, and your spirit are a divinely engineered radio designed specifically to pick up any frequency on Radio Universe you choose. You have a dial, and that dial is your focus, your attention, and your feeling state. You are designed to be able to listen to the station of joy whenever you wish. You are built to tune into the frequency of love. This is your birthright. So if that is true, why do so many of us feel like our radios are broken? Why, when we try to tune into joy, do we hear a grinding sound of anxiety? Why, when we seek the station of abundance, do we get a loud, blaring signal of lack and not enough? The answer is simple. Your radio is not broken. It can never be broken. But your reception is being blocked by static. This chapter is about clearing that static. Before we can use the powerful, high-fidelity ancient words to tune into the clearest and most beautiful frequencies, we must first clean the dust out of our receiver. We must repair the frayed wires of our old wounds and polish the antenna of our awareness. You cannot receive a clear signal on a clogged frequency. If your inner world is full of the noise of resentment, fear, and limiting beliefs, it does not matter how powerful the broadcast from the universe is. All you will hear is the noise. This work, the work of clearing the static, is the most crucial groundwork you can do. It is the act of preparing the soil before you plant the seeds of miracles. Many people want to skip this step. They want the magic words to do all the work for them. But the words are amplifiers. They will amplify whatever signal is already dominant within you. If your dominant signal is, "I am not worthy," the words will struggle to be heard over that inner noise. But if you can quiet that noise first, if you can clear the static, the ancient words will resonate with incredible power, and the miracles will flow into your life with an ease that will astound you. The static is not your enemy. It is simply a collection of old energies and outdated programs that you have accumulated over your lifetime. It is like dust in a house. It is not evil. It just needs to be cleaned away to let the light in. The beautiful thing is that you are the one holding the cleaning cloth. You have the power to quiet the noise. You have the ability to turn down the volume on the static, so you can finally hear the beautiful music that has been playing for you all along. This is not a chore. It is an act of liberation. It is the process of reclaiming your own inner space, of becoming the master of your own receiver. So let us take a deep breath, and let us begin the sacred work of clearing the three great blockages that create almost all of the static in our lives. The first and most pervasive form of static is the fog of our limiting beliefs. A limiting belief is a subconscious rule you have about yourself, about others, or about the world that restricts you in some way. The most important thing to understand about these beliefs is that you do not see them as beliefs. You see them as truth. They are the invisible walls of the prison you have unknowingly built around yourself. They are the background operating system of your mind, running constantly, influencing every thought you have, every decision you make, and every emotion you feel. These beliefs are not who you are. They are conclusions you drew about reality based on your past experiences. Often when you were a small child and did not have the wisdom or context to understand what was happening. They were survival mechanisms that may have helped you navigate your childhood, but now as an adult, they are the very things holding you back. Where do these beliefs come from? They are absorbed from our environment like a sponge absorbs water. They come from our parents. If your parents constantly worried about money and argued about bills, you might have absorbed the deep unconscious belief that money is a source of conflict and anxiety, or there is never enough. Even if they never said those words directly, you absorbed the emotional frequency, the static of lack. They come from our culture. Our society bombards us with messages about what it means to be successful, to be beautiful, to be worthy. These messages create beliefs like, my worth is determined by my job title and my bank account, or I must look a certain way to be loved. They come from our early school experiences. If a teacher once shamed you for a wrong answer in front of the class, a seed might have been planted. It's not safe to speak up, or I am stupid if I make a mistake. They come from painful past relationships, which can install beliefs like, I will always be abandoned, or love is dangerous. These beliefs become the silent, discordant mantras we chant to ourselves day in and day out, without even realizing it. A belief like, I'm not good enough, is a vibration. It is a low, heavy frequency that you constantly broadcast out into the universe. And as we learned in the first chapter, the universe, like the sand on the vibrating plate, must organize itself around the frequencies you emit. If you are constantly broadcasting, I'm not good enough, the universe will faithfully deliver experiences that match that vibration. You will be overlooked for a promotion. You will attract partners who treat you poorly. You will sabotage your own success because on a deep level, you do not believe you deserve it. Your outer reality becomes a perfect mirror for your inner, unexamined belief. So how do we find these invisible walls? How do we identify the static that is running our lives from the shadows? It requires a bit of detective work. It requires courage and a willingness to be honest with yourself. The best way to begin is to look at the areas of your life where you feel the most stuck, the most frustrated, or the most pain. Is it your finances, your relationships, your career, your health? Pick one area. Now sit quietly and ask yourself some deep questions. Do not look for the right answer. Look for the first, most automatic answer that pops into your head. Let us say you chose finances. Ask yourself, what is my very first thought when I think about money? Does a feeling of anxiety grip your stomach? Do the words, "it's so hard," appear in your mind? Ask, what did I learn about money from my parents? Ask, if I had all the money I ever wanted, what would I be afraid of losing, or what bad thing might happen? Some people are afraid they would lose their friends, or that people would only want them for their money, revealing a belief that money isolates you. Now here is the most powerful question. In order for my current financial situation to be my reality, what would I have to believe is true about myself or the world? Perhaps the answer is, I'd have to believe that I'm not smart enough to be wealthy. Or, I'd have to believe that you have to work yourself to death to be rich. Or, I'd have to believe that good spiritual people shouldn't have a lot of money. Write these answers down. Do not judge them. Just observe them. This is the act of making the unconscious conscious. You are shining a light into the dusty corners of your mind. Let us imagine a woman named Sarah. Sarah is a kind, loving person who desperately wants a romantic partner, but all her relationships end in heartbreak. She feels cursed. She decides to do this exercise. She asks herself, in order for me to always be left, what would I have to believe is true about myself? After sitting with the uncomfortable feeling, a whisper comes from deep within. I have to believe that eventually, everyone will see the real me and realize I am not worth loving. It is a painful realization. She traces it back to her childhood, where her father was emotionally distant and she always felt she had to perform to get his fleeting approval. She created a rule. I am fundamentally flawed, and if someone gets too close, they will discover this flaw and leave. This belief has been the silent director of all her relationships. She would unconsciously pick partners who were emotionally unavailable, just like her father. Or when a kind and loving partner did come along, she would unconsciously push them away, sabotaging the relationship to prove her own belief correct. The moment Sarah identified this belief, the moment she saw it for what it was, a story she made up as a child, its power over her began to crumble. She did not have to fix it instantly. The miracle was in the seeing. For the first time, she could separate herself from the belief. She could say, there is a belief inside me that says I am not worthy of love, but that is not me. That is an old program. This is the first and most vital step in clearing the static. You must identify the source of the noise. The sound of a limiting belief is a lie you have been telling yourself for so long that you have forgotten it is a lie. Your work is to see it, to acknowledge it, and to gently begin to question its truth. You are a divine being of infinite worth. Any belief that tells you otherwise is simply static, and you can choose to turn down its volume. The second great blockage, and perhaps the heaviest form of static, is the poison of unforgiveness. If limiting beliefs are a fog that clouds your vision, unforgiveness is a set of heavy iron chains that you drag behind you everywhere you go. It tethers you to the past, forcing you to relive your most painful moments over and over again. It is the spiritual equivalent of drinking a cup of poison every single day and hoping that the person you are angry with will die. But the only one being harmed is you. Resentment, bitterness, and the desire for revenge are some of the lowest, slowest vibrations a human being can experience. When you are in a state of unforgiveness, it is physically and energetically impossible to tune into the high frequencies of joy, peace, and love. You cannot be in a state of resentment and a state of gratitude at the same time. The two frequencies cancel each other out. When you hold onto a grudge, you are forming an energetic cord between you and the person or situation that hurt you. Even if that person is thousands of miles away, or even if they have passed on, as long as you hold on to the anger, you are still connected to them. You are giving them free rent in the most sacred space you have, your mind. You are allowing the memory of them to dictate your current emotional state. Every time you replay the argument in your head, every time you tell the story of how you were wronged, you are re-injuring yourself. You are pouring fresh salt into an old wound, preventing it from ever healing. This has a profound effect on your physical body. Chronic anger keeps your body in a constant state of fight or flight. It floods your system with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This can lead to high blood pressure, heart problems, digestive issues, a weakened immune system, and chronic fatigue. Holding on to unforgiveness is not just bad for your soul, it is literally making you sick. The most common misunderstanding about forgiveness is that it is for the other person. People resist it because they think, if I forgive them, it means what they did was okay, it means I am letting them off the hook. This could not be further from the truth. Forgiveness has absolutely nothing to do with the other person. You do not even need to speak to them. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It is the act of you deciding that you will no longer allow the past to poison your present. It is you taking the scissors and cutting that energetic cord that binds you to the pain. It is you declaring, I am no longer available for this suffering. I am setting myself free. It is the ultimate act of self-love and personal empowerment. It is you taking your power back from the person or event that hurt you. This process involves two parts: forgiving others and forgiving yourself. Forgiving others can be incredibly difficult, especially when the wound is deep. It is a process, and it is okay if it takes time. One of the most powerful practices for this is the letter you never send. Find a quiet time when you will not be disturbed. Take a pen and paper and write a letter to the person who hurt you. Do not hold back. Pour all of your anger, your pain, your rage, and your sadness onto the page. Write down everything you wish you could have said. Tell them exactly how their actions affected you. Keep writing until you feel empty, until there is nothing left to say. Then, at the end of the letter, write these words: I acknowledge all of this pain. I see how much this has cost me. And now, for the sake of my own peace, for the sake of my own health, for the sake of my own freedom, I choose to release you. I cut the cord. I take my power back. I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve to be free. Then safely burn the letter. As you watch the smoke rise, visualize all the heavy energy of that pain rising with it, dissolving into the universe, being transformed back into neutral energy. You may need to do this more than once, but with each time you will feel a layer of the static fall away. Let us think about a man named David. David had a successful business he built from the ground up with his best friend. One day, he discovered his friend had been embezzling money for years, and the company went bankrupt. David lost everything: his business, his savings, and his best friend. For 5 years, he was consumed by a burning rage. Every day was a mental trial where he convicted his former friend over and over. This bitterness seeped into every area of his life. He was irritable with his wife and children. He could not find the energy to start a new venture. He was trapped. One day, his wife, seeing his pain, suggested he try to forgive his friend. David exploded. "Never. He doesn't deserve it." His wife said softly, "This isn't about him, David. Look at what this anger is doing to you. He ruined your business 5 years ago. Don't let him ruin the rest of your life." The words hit him like a thunderbolt. He realized he was still a prisoner to a man he had not seen in years. That night he wrote the letter. He filled page after page with venom and heartbreak. Then he wrote the words of release. He burned the letter in his fireplace, and as he watched the ashes curl, he wept. He wept for the first time in years, not tears of anger, but tears of release. A huge weight lifted from his chest. The next morning, for the first time in 5 years, he woke up, and his first thought was not about the betrayal. It was about a new idea for a business. By forgiving, he had not set his friend free. He had set himself free. He cleared the static, and a new song could finally begin to play. Just as important and often more difficult is forgiving yourself. We all carry a bag of our own past mistakes. The things we said that we regret, the times we acted out of fear or ignorance and hurt someone we loved, the opportunities we were too scared to take. We become our own harshest judges, replaying our cringiest moments on a loop. This self-condemnation is a powerful form of static. It broadcasts the vibration, "I am bad" or "I am broken," which blocks you from receiving the good you deserve. You must extend the same grace to yourself that you would to a dear friend. The person who made those mistakes in the past did so with the knowledge and consciousness they had at the time. You know better now because you have grown. You cannot move forward if you are constantly looking in the rearview mirror and beating yourself up. A powerful practice is to put your hand on your heart, look at yourself in the mirror, and say out loud, "I know you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. You have learned, you have grown. For all the ways I have hurt myself and others through my past actions, I deeply and completely forgive myself. I am free to move forward." Do this every day until you feel a shift. You are worthy of your own forgiveness. It is the key that unlocks the door to self-love. The third great blockage is the silent but deadly gratitude deficit. This is the state of living in a mindset of scarcity. It is the habit of constantly focusing on what is missing from your life. Our society trains us for this. We are taught to always be striving for the next thing, the better job, the bigger house, the newer car. We live in a state of I will be happy when I get the promotion. I will be happy when I lose 10 pounds. I will be happy when I find a partner. The problem is that when you live in when, you are never living in now. You are constantly telling the universe that what you have right now is not enough. You are tuning your radio to the frequency of lack. And the universe, which is an impartial mirror, simply reflects that signal back to you, giving you more experiences of lack. Gratitude is the direct antidote to the scarcity mindset. It is the most powerful and effective vibrational tuner you possess. It is not just a polite thing to do, it is a spiritual superpower. You literally cannot feel fear and gratitude in the same moment. You cannot feel lack and gratitude at the same time. They are mutually exclusive frequencies. When you are genuinely feeling gratitude, you are emitting one of the highest, most magnetic vibrations a human can produce. Gratitude is the energetic signature of receiving. It is a powerful declaration to the universe that says, "Thank you. I love what you have sent me. I am open to receiving more." It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. It moves you from the energy of poverty to the energy of wealth, even if not a single dollar has changed in your bank account. The feeling of wealth always precedes the physical manifestation of it. This is where we find our instant tune-up, the simplest and fastest way to begin clearing the static and raising your vibration right now. It is the practice of radical gratitude. It is simple, it is free, and it will change your life if you commit to it. Before you use any of the ancient words, before you ask the universe for anything, you must first become a vibrational match for the good you desire. The gratitude practice is your tuning fork. Here is how you do it. Find a quiet place, even if it is just for 3 minutes. Close your eyes. Take a few deep, calming breaths. Now think of 3 to 5 things in your life that you are genuinely grateful for. The key is to make them specific and to feel them in your body. Do not just make a mental list. My house, my job, my family. That is too abstract. Go deeper. Think about your warm, comfortable bed. Do not just think the word bed. Try to actually feel the sensation of the soft pillows and the warm blankets. Feel the gratitude for that comfort, for that safety. Then, think about your morning cup of coffee or tea. Do not just think coffee. Remember the rich aroma, the warmth of the mug in your hands, the first taste that wakes you up. Let a wave of genuine appreciation for that simple pleasure wash over you. Think about a person you love. Do not just think their name. Bring their face to your mind. Remember the sound of their laughter. Remember a time they were there for you. Feel the love and gratitude for their presence in your life well up in your heart. Let this feeling of gratitude, this warm, expansive energy, fill your entire chest. Let it spread through your whole body. Smile. You are physically changing your body's chemistry. You are releasing feel-good neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin. You are lowering your stress hormones. And most importantly, you are changing your energetic broadcast from lack to abundance. You are tuning your radio from the noisy static of complaint to the beautiful, clear music of appreciation. Make this a non-negotiable daily practice. Do it in the morning before you get out of bed. Do it at night before you fall asleep. Keep a gratitude journal by your bed and write down 5 new things every single day. The more you look for things to be grateful for, the more things you will find. The universe will start showing you more and more things to appreciate. It is a beautiful, self-reinforcing cycle. You will start to notice the beauty of the clouds in the sky, the kindness of a stranger, the miracle of your own body that breathes and beats its heart without any effort from you. By consciously working to identify your limiting beliefs, by courageously choosing to forgive and release the past, and by diligently practicing gratitude, you are doing the essential work of a conscious creator. You are clearing out the static. You are sweeping the floor, opening the windows, and polishing the lens of your perception. Your inner receiver is becoming more sensitive, more clear, more powerful. The noise of the ego and the past is fading, and in the growing quiet you can begin to hear a new sound. It is the subtle, harmonious hum of the universe itself. You are now ready to not just hear it, but to participate in it. You are ready to pick up the sacred instruments of the ancient words and begin to consciously play the music of miracles. The groundwork is done, the stage is set. Let the symphony begin. Chapter 3. The Primordial Sound. Om, A-U-M, the miracle of connection. Let us begin with a question that has haunted philosophers and comforted mystics for millennia. What does it feel like to come home? Not to a house made of wood and nails, but to your true home. The place before the worry, before the fear, before you were given a name and told who you were supposed to be. What is the feeling of dissolving back into the source of all that is? There is a sound for this feeling. There is a vibration that is both the path home and the destination itself. It is perhaps the most ancient and sacred sound known to humanity. It is the sound of Om, often spelled A-U-M to represent its 3 distinct parts. To call O-M a word is to limit it. It is not a word that means something. It is the sound of everything. It is the cosmic hum of creation, the dial tone of the universe, the signature vibration of God. The ancient rishis, the sages of India, who first cognized this sound in deep meditation thousands of years ago, said that Om is the sound that was present at the birth of the universe. It is the vibration that continues to sustain it, and it is the sound into which everything will eventually dissolve. It is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, all contained in a single resonant syllable. To engage with Om is not a religious act, though it is held sacred in many religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It is a universal act. It is an act of tuning your personal radio, your own small field of energy, to the vast, boundless broadcast of the cosmic ocean. It is a way to remember that you are not a separate, isolated drop of water, terrified of drying up. You are the ocean, experiencing itself in the form of a drop. The miracle of chanting Om is the miracle of connection. In a world that so often makes us feel small, separate, and alone, the sound of Om is a powerful, instantaneous reminder of our own magnificence and our unbreakable connection to the entirety of life. It dissolves the illusion of separation, which is the root cause of all fear. When you chant Om, you are stepping out of the small room of your personal ego and into the infinite cathedral of universal consciousness. To truly understand the power of Om, we must first break it down into its 4 constituent parts, the 3 audible sounds A, U, and M, and the 4th inaudible part, the silence that follows. This is not just an intellectual exercise. Each part of this sacred syllable represents a fundamental aspect of reality and corresponds to a specific state of human consciousness. To chant it correctly is to take a journey through the whole of existence in a single breath. The first sound is A, pronounced as a long R sound, like the A in father. This sound is generated from the back of the throat, originating deep in the belly. As you make this sound, you can feel the vibration resonate in your solar plexus and your lower chest. This A sound represents the principle of creation. It is the Brahma energy, the force that brings things into being. It symbolizes the waking state of consciousness, what the ancient texts call Jagrat. This is the world you experience with your 5 senses. It is the material world, the physical universe, the tangible reality of your body, your house, your car. It is the birth of a star, the sprouting of a seed, the beginning of a new day. It is the outward-focused energy of doing, of acting, of creating in the physical realm. When you chant this first part of OM, you are acknowledging and connecting with the entire physical creation and your own waking, conscious self that perceives it. You are affirming your place in the material world. As the R sound continues, it naturally begins to merge into the second sound, U, pronounced as a long oo sound, like the oo in swoop. The sound moves forward in the mouth, and you will feel the vibration rising from your chest into your throat and the back of your mouth. This U sound represents the principle of preservation. It is the Vishnu energy, the force that sustains and maintains creation. It symbolizes the dreaming state of consciousness, known as swapna. This is the subtle, inner world of your thoughts, your emotions, your memories, and your dreams. It is not the physical world, but it is just as real to you. Think about how a vivid dream can make your heart race, or a worry can make your stomach churn. This inner world is what gives life to the outer world. It is the growth of the plant from the seed, the life of the star between its birth and collapse, the journey of your life between birth and death. When you chant the oo sound, you are acknowledging and harmonizing with this vast inner universe of your subconscious mind. You are connecting with the world of feelings and thoughts that sustains your experience of reality. Finally, the oo sound transitions into the third part, M, a gentle humming sound made with the lips slightly closed. The vibration moves from the throat up into the head, buzzing behind your teeth in your nasal passages and at the point between your eyebrows, often called the third eye. This M sound represents the principle of destruction, or more accurately, transformation. It is the Shiva energy, the force that dissolves old forms to make way for the new. It symbolizes the state of deep, dreamless sleep, known as sushupti. In this state, there is no sense of a separate self, no thoughts, no dreams, just a peaceful, undifferentiated state of being. It is the end of the day, the collapse of the star, the wilting of the flower to return its nutrients to the soil. It represents the unmanifest world of pure potential, the formless void from which all forms arise and to which they all return. When you chant the sound, you are acknowledging the cyclical nature of life and letting go of your attachment to form. You are connecting with the peaceful void of pure potential within you, and this brings us to the fourth and most important part of AUM, the silence. After the hum has faded away, there is a pause, a moment of profound stillness before you take the next breath to begin again. This silence is called Turiya, which simply means the fourth. It is not a state of consciousness like the other three. It is consciousness itself. It is the silent, changeless awareness that witnesses the waking state, the dreaming state, and the deep sleep state. It is the blank screen upon which the movie of your life is projected. It is the paper on which the story is written. It is your true self, your eternal soul, the Atman. The purpose of chanting the first three sounds is to lead you into the experience of this fourth state. The A, U, and M sounds quiet the mind and body, and in the resulting silence, you can experience a moment of pure being. You can touch the peace that passeth all understanding. This is the ultimate homecoming. This is the miracle of connection. In that silence, you are no longer a person who is chanting. You are the consciousness that is aware of the chant. The illusion of separation dissolves. Now let us look at what is happening in your physical body when you engage in this sacred practice. This is not just a metaphysical exercise. It is a powerful form of physiological and neurological medicine. As we touched on before, the key player here is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it is a central component of your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's rest and digest system. It acts as the brakes to the fight or flight response of your sympathetic nervous system. The vagus nerve wanders from your brainstem all the way down into your abdomen, connecting with your larynx, voice box, your heart, your lungs, and your digestive organs. When this nerve is stimulated, it sends a powerful signal to your entire body to calm down. It slows your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, relaxes your breathing, and improves your digestion. It reduces inflammation and switches your brain from an anxious state to a calm, creative one. The act of chanting OM is a direct and powerful way to manually stimulate your vagus nerve. The vibrations created in your throat and chest, particularly during the oo and phases of the chant, literally massage this nerve. This creates what is known as vagal tone. People with high vagal tone are better able to regulate their emotions, they recover more quickly from stress, and they have stronger social connections and feelings of empathy. By chanting Om regularly, you are literally exercising and strengthening this nerve of compassion and rewiring your nervous system for peace and resilience. Furthermore, there is a principle in physics called resonance. If you have two tuning forks of the same frequency and you strike one, the other one will begin to vibrate and sing as well, even without being touched. This is resonance. Your body is a complex instrument made of trillions of vibrating cells. When you introduce a powerful, coherent, and harmonious vibration like OM into your system, you invite every cell in your body to resonate with it. You invite the chaotic, jumbled frequencies of stress and anxiety to sync up with this primordial, peaceful hum. This is called entrainment. Your brainwaves entrain to the slow, rhythmic pace of the chant, shifting from agitated beta into relaxed alpha. Your heartbeats entrain to the calming vibration. You are literally tuning your entire biological instrument to the most harmonious note in the universe. You are creating coherence in a system that was once chaotic. This is not faith, it is physics. So how do we use this incredible tool for the miracle of connection? The primary affliction of the modern human spirit is a profound sense of loneliness. We can be in a crowded city, connected to thousands of people online, and still feel utterly and painfully alone. This loneliness does not come from a lack of people around us. It comes from a deep, internal feeling of being separate. Separate from others, separate from nature, separate from our own true selves. It is the cry of the ego, the small self that defines itself by its boundaries. This is me, and that is not me. This sense of separation is the root of fear, because if you are separate, you can be attacked, you can be abandoned, you can be destroyed. The chant of Om is the ultimate medicine for this separation. When you close your eyes and allow this sound to fill you, you are engaging in an experience that dissolves boundaries. In the vibration, you begin to feel that the sound is not just coming from you. It is moving through you. You feel your connection to the air you are breathing, to the ground that is supporting you, to the space in the room around you. As you sit in the silence that follows the chant, the sense of me, the small anxious ego, temporarily fades. You are no longer just John or Jane with a list of problems and a history of failures. You are simply awareness. You are simply being. In that space, you are connected to everything because you are the consciousness that underlies everything. The fear dissolves because there is nothing outside of you to be afraid of. The loneliness vanishes because you are experiencing your own wholeness. Let us imagine a man named Arthur. Arthur is 75 years old, and his wife of 50 years passed away a year ago. His world has become grey and silent. His children are grown and live far away. He sits in the house they shared, surrounded by memories, feeling like a ghost. The silence is not peaceful. It is heavy and suffocating. He feels profoundly, achingly alone, a man disconnected from the world, waiting for his own end. A neighbor, seeing his sadness, suggests he join a gentle yoga and meditation class at the local community center. Hesitantly, he goes. At the end of the class, the instructor asks everyone to chant Om 3 times together. Arthur feels foolish at first, his voice a rusty croak, but as he joins in with the dozen other voices in the room, something happens. The combined sound fills the space, and he feels the vibration not just in his own chest but in the floor, in the air. It feels like the room itself is humming. In that moment, he does not feel like Arthur, the lonely widower. He feels like a part of something larger, a single note in a beautiful resonant chord. After the third Om, in the ringing silence, a tear rolls down his cheek. It is not a tear of sadness, but of a strange, unfamiliar peace. He feels a warmth, a presence that he has not felt in a year. He realizes that the love he shared with his wife was not contained just within her. It was a universal energy that they were blessed to experience together. And that energy, that connection, has not gone anywhere. It is still here, accessible in the silence, in the hum of the universe. The chant of Om did not bring his wife back. It did something more profound. It connected him back to the eternal wellspring of love itself, dissolving the illusion that he was ever truly alone. Now, let us bring this sacred practice into your own life. It is simple, and you can begin today. Find a comfortable place to sit. You can sit on a cushion on the floor or in a chair. The most important thing is that your spine is straight but not rigid, allowing the energy to flow freely. Gently close your eyes. Let your hands rest on your knees, with the palms facing up in a gesture of receiving. Take a few deep, conscious breaths. Breathe in through your nose deep into your belly and exhale slowly through your mouth. With each exhale, feel the tension of your day melting away. Let go of your to-do lists, your worries, your plans. Just be here, now. When you are ready, you will begin the chant. Take a deep, full inhale, filling your lungs completely. On the exhale, begin the sound. Start with the ah sound, originating from your belly. Let your mouth be wide and open. Feel the vibration in your chest, in the core of your being. This is your connection to the physical world. Allow the ah to flow seamlessly into the oo sound. Let your lips begin to round and come forward. Feel the vibration rising into your throat. This is your connection to your inner world of thoughts and feelings. Finally, let the oo transition into the hum by bringing your lips gently together. Feel the vibration in your head, at the point between your eyebrows. This is your connection to the unmanifest world of pure potential. Let the hum continue for as long as you can comfortably, without straining. Then, the most important part. As the hum fades, let yourself sink into the silence that follows. Do not rush to take the next breath. Linger in this stillness. Feel the resonance of the chant echoing in every cell of your body. This is where you connect with your true nature, the silent witness. Stay here for a few moments. Then, when you are ready, take another deep breath and begin the chant again. You can start by chanting Om 3 times or perhaps 9 times. Or, a wonderful practice is to set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and simply continue chanting for that duration. Do not worry about doing it perfectly. The intention is more important than the technique. The goal is not to perform a perfect chant, but to use the chant to experience a perfect peace. The sound of Om is your homecoming. It is the key that unlocks the door that was never really locked. It is the universal password that grants you access to the peace and connection that is your birthright. In a world of noise, let it be your signal. In a world of chaos, let it be your anchor. In a world that tells you that you are separate and small, let it be the constant thrumming reminder that you are vast, you are connected, and you are whole. You are a note in the grand cosmic symphony. Chant Om, and you will remember how to play your part. Chapter 4. The Breath of Being. So hum, the miracle of self-awareness. Have you ever stopped to consider the most intimate, constant, and life-giving process of your existence? It is a process so fundamental that you perform it more than 20,000 times every single day, yet you likely pay attention to it for less than a few seconds in total. It is the first thing you did when you entered this world, a gasp of air that announced your arrival, and it will be the very last thing you do before you depart, a final release that signifies your transition. It is your breath. The breath is the rhythm of life itself, the silent, tireless engine that powers your every moment. It is the bridge between the visible and the invisible, the physical and the non-physical. In many ancient languages, the word for breath and the word for spirit are one and the same. And the Latin word spiritus, from which we get spirit, literally means breath. The ancient Greeks used the word pneuma for both breath and soul. The Hebrews used ruach. This is not a coincidence. The sages of old understood a profound truth that we have largely forgotten. Your breath is your spirit in motion. It is the tangible evidence of the life force energy, the prana that animates your physical form. To ignore your breath is to ignore the most direct and immediate connection you have to the source of life itself. We live our lives in a state of perpetual distraction, our minds pulled in 1,000 different directions, by the demands of the past and the anxieties of the future. We seek peace in external things, in achievements, in possessions, in the approval of others. We travel the world looking for a quiet place, a sacred spot where we can finally feel calm. But all the while, the most powerful tool for finding immediate peace, the most sacred space imaginable, has been right here, literally under our noses. Your breath is your portable sanctuary. It is an anchor that is always available to you in every single moment, ready to pull you out of the turbulent storms of your mind and into the calm, clear harbor of the present moment. The present moment is the only place where life actually happens. The past is a collection of memories, ghosts of moments that no longer exist. The future is a collection of projections, fantasies that have not yet occurred. The only point of power you will ever have is right here, right now, in this breath. And there is a sound, a mantra, so simple and so profound that it rides upon this breath, a mantra that you are, in fact, already chanting with every inhale and every exhale. You just have not been taught to listen. This mantra is So Hum. It is a universal mantra, found in the ancient Vedic traditions of India. Its beauty lies in its simplicity and its profound truth. It is not something you have to force or invent. It is the natural sound of the breath itself. As you inhale, the breath makes a subtle soo sound. As you exhale, it makes a gentle hum sound. Try it now, quietly. Breathe in deeply and listen for that subtle so. 20,000 times a day, the universe is whispering the most profound truth to you, and you are whispering it back. So what does this mantra mean? In Sanskrit, So Hum translates to I am that, not I want to be that, or I hope to be that, or maybe one day I will be that. It is a declaration of a present reality. It is an affirmation of your true identity. Let us take this profound statement apart piece by piece, for within these two small words lies the entire map back to your true self. The first word is so, which rides on the inhale. The inhale is the act of receiving. You are drawing the outside world into yourself. You are taking in the life force of the universe, the air that has been breathed by trees and swirled by winds across oceans. The inhale represents your connection to the vast universal energy. It represents that. And what is that? That is the nameless, formless, universal consciousness we spoke of in the previous chapter. It is the OM. It is the silent, aware presence of Turiya. It is the quantum field of infinite potential. It is the source of all creation. It is God. It is the Tao. It has 1,000 names and no name at all. That is the vast, boundless ocean of pure being. It is the totality of all that is, all that was and all that ever will be. So with every inhale, as you silently hear the sound of so, you are acknowledging this truth. You are drawing in the entire universe. You are breathing in God. You are affirming, that great universal consciousness exists and I am breathing it in. I am connected to it. I am part of it. The second word is hum, which rides on the exhale. The exhale is the act of giving, of releasing, of letting go. As you exhale, you are asserting your own individual presence within that great universal field. The hum sound is deeply connected to the sound of I or am. It is the vibration of your own unique expression of consciousness. It represents I am. So with every exhale, as you silently hear the sound of hum, you are affirming your own existence as a unique focal point of that universal energy. You are saying, I am, I exist, I am here, I am this body, this mind, this unique personality, this divine spark of individuality. So put it together. Inhale, so, that universal consciousness. Exhale, hum, I am. So hum, I am that. You are making a profound statement of unity. You are saying that the individual self, I am, and the universal self, that, are not two separate things. The drop of water, I am, is remembering that it is made of the exact same substance as the entire ocean, that. It is a statement of non-duality. It shatters the illusion of separation that is the source of all our fear and suffering. The ego, your small self, lives in a world of separation. It defines itself by what it is not. I am this person, not that person. I have this, and I do not have that. I am here, not there. This constant division creates a background hum of anxiety, a need to protect and defend the fragile little island of me from the vast, threatening ocean of not me. The Soham mantra dissolves this illusion. It says, "The ocean is within the drop, the universe is within me. The creator and the creation are one and the same." This is not just a beautiful philosophical idea. It is the key to liberating yourself from the tyranny of your own mind. The vast majority of human suffering is self-inflicted, not by external events, but by our relationship to time. Our minds are like time machines that are constantly broken, stuck in one of two modes, replaying the past or rehearsing the future. We live our lives in a prison with two walls. On one side is the wall of regret. We endlessly chew on the cud of past mistakes. I should have said that. I shouldn't have done that. If only I had taken that other job. If only I hadn't ended that relationship. We carry our past failures like a sack of heavy stones, allowing the ghosts of yesterday to haunt the bright new day of today. The past is a memory. It has no power over you except the power you give it by constantly revisiting it in your mind. This creates emotions like guilt, shame, sadness, and resentment. On the other side is the wall of anxiety. We project our minds into a future that does not exist, and we play out every possible negative scenario. What if I lose my job? What if I get sick? What if my children are not okay? What if I fail the exam? What if they do not like me? We suffer 1,000 times in our imagination for tragedies that may never even happen. The future is a fantasy. It has no power over you except the power you give it by constantly worrying about it. This creates emotions like fear, stress, worry, and panic. So we are trapped. We bounce back and forth between the wall of regret and the wall of anxiety, rarely if ever touching the ground in the middle. But the ground in the middle, the present moment, is the only place where peace exists. It is the only place where you have any real power. You cannot change the past, you cannot control the future. You can only meet this present moment. The Soham mantra is your emergency exit from this prison of time. It is a tool of radical presence. When your mind is spiraling into a story of past regret, you can gently bring your awareness to your breath. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. You are not fighting the thoughts. You are not trying to push them away. You are simply shifting your focus. You are dropping the heavy sack of stones from the past and picking up the light, simple anchor of your breath. You are taking your attention off of the ghost story and placing it on the simple, physical reality of air entering and leaving your body. In that moment of focus, the past loses its grip. When your mind is racing ahead into 1,000 future worries, you can gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. You are stepping out of the horror movie of your imagination and back into the quiet theater of the now. You are reminding yourself that in this exact moment, as you breathe in and out, you are okay. The future is not here yet. In this breath you are safe. In this breath you have all you need. The Soham mantra does not magically solve all your problems. What it does is infinitely more valuable. It brings you back to the only place where you have the power to deal with your problems, the present moment. It quiets the deafening noise of regret and anxiety so that you can hear the quiet whisper of your own inner wisdom. Let us consider the story of a woman named Maria. Maria was a single mother of a 7-year-old boy. Her life was a textbook example of the prison of time. During the day, at her stressful job, her mind was constantly in the future. How will I pay the rent next month? What if my car breaks down? What if my son gets sick and I have to miss work? Her body was in a constant state of low-grade panic. Her shoulders were perpetually tense. Her stomach was always in a knot. Then, at night, when she was finally alone after putting her son to bed, her mind would swing violently back into the past. She would lie awake for hours, replaying the bitter breakup with her son's father. Why did I ignore the red flags? I was so stupid. If only I had left sooner. Now my son doesn't have a father in the house. It's all my fault. The guilt was a heavy blanket that smothered any chance of rest. She loved her son more than anything in the world, but she was rarely truly present with him. When they were playing in the park, her mind was at work, worrying about a deadline. When he was telling her about his day at school, she was nodding along, but her mind was replaying an old argument. She was a ghost in her own life, haunted by a past she could not change and a future she could not control. One day, exhausted and desperate, she stumbled upon a guided meditation podcast. The guide spoke of the So-Hum mantra. It sounded too simple to possibly work, but she had nothing to lose. That night, instead of letting her mind spin out, she sat on her bed, closed her eyes, and tried. She breathed in, so. She breathed out, For the first 5 minutes, it was a battle. Her mind screamed at her. This is a waste of time. You should be balancing your checkbook. Remember what he said to you? You're a failure. The thoughts were like a swarm of angry bees. The guide's voice on the podcast gently said, "That's okay. The mind's job is to think. Just notice the thoughts like clouds in the sky and gently, kindly return your focus to the breath. So, hum." Maria kept trying. She imagined her anxious thoughts were clouds and she just let them float by without getting on board. She kept coming back to the anchor. So, so, After about 10 minutes, something shifted. The swarm of bees did not disappear, but they seemed to buzz a little further away. A tiny space opened up in her mind, a small pocket of quiet. For the first time in what felt like years, she felt her shoulders relax just a little. She did not feel bliss. She did not have a divine revelation. She just felt a tiny bit of peace. It was enough. She kept up the practice. 10 minutes every night. It was not a magic wand. She still had worries, she still had sad memories. But the mantra was giving her a tool. When she felt a wave of panic rising in her chest at work, she would close her eyes for 30 seconds in the bathroom stall. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. It was like a circuit breaker, stopping the spiral of anxiety before it could take her over. When a painful memory of her ex would surface, she would stop, take one conscious breath and anchor herself in the now. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, her life began to change. Because she was less consumed by worry, she was more focused at work, and her performance improved. One afternoon, she was at the park with her son. He was trying to fly a kite, and the wind was tricky. The old Maria would have been on her phone, checking her bank account, worrying. But the new Maria put her phone away. She focused on the breath. So, hum. And because her mind was not in the past or the future, she was truly there. She noticed the way the sunlight caught her son's hair. She heard the pure, unadulterated joy in his laughter as the kite finally caught the wind and soared. A wave of love and gratitude so powerful washed over her that it brought tears to her eyes. In that moment, she was not a struggling single mother. She was not a woman with a painful past. She was just a soul, witnessing a moment of perfect, simple beauty. The So-Hum mantra did not change her circumstances. It changed her. It brought her home to the only place where life's true riches can ever be found, the present moment. Now let us explore the profound science behind why this ancient practice is so incredibly effective. Your nervous system has two main branches that operate largely without your conscious control. This is called the autonomic nervous system. The first branch is the sympathetic nervous system. This is your body's gas pedal, your fight or flight response. When you perceive a threat, whether it is a real tiger or a stressful email from your boss, this system kicks into high gear. It floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate speeds up, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid, your muscles tense and blood is diverted away from your digestive system and towards your limbs so you can run or fight. This is an essential survival mechanism, but the problem in our modern world is that this system is switched on almost constantly due to chronic stress. We are living with our foot always on the gas, and it is burning out our engine. The second branch is the parasympathetic nervous system. This is your body's brake pedal, your rest and digest system. It is designed to bring your body back into a state of balance and calm. It slows your heart rate, deepens your breathing, relaxes your muscles, and stimulates digestion and healing. The vagus nerve, which we discussed in the chapter on OM, is the primary highway of this calming system. For most of us, our brake pedal is rusty and rarely used. We have forgotten how to consciously apply the brakes to our own stress response. Here is the secret. The breath is the one and only part of your autonomic nervous system that you can voluntarily control. You cannot tell your heart to beat slower. You cannot tell your stomach to digest faster, but you can choose to slow down and deepen your breath. And when you do that, you are manually activating your parasympathetic nervous system. You are consciously and deliberately applying the brakes. The Soham meditation is a powerful form of what scientists call resonant breathing. By slowing your breath down to a rhythm of about 5 to 6 breaths per minute, you hit a sweet spot that maximizes the stimulation of your vagus nerve and dramatically improves your heart rate variability, or HRV. HRV is a measure of the variation in time between your heartbeats. A high HRV is the #1 indicator of a healthy, resilient, and well-balanced nervous system. It means your body is highly adaptable and can switch easily between stress and calm. A low HRV is a sign of chronic stress and is linked to a host of health problems. The slow, rhythmic breathing of the Soham practice is one of the most effective ways known to science to directly increase your HRV, effectively making you more resilient to stress from the inside out. Furthermore, let us talk about that monkey mind, that incessant inner chatter. Neuroscientists have identified a network in the brain called the default mode network, or DMN. This is the part of your brain that is active when you are not focused on a specific task. And what does it do? It daydreams, it ruminates about the past, and it worries about the future. It is the biological source of the prison of time. It is the storyteller, constantly creating narratives about me and my problems. When you bring your focus to an internal physical sensation, like the feeling of your breath entering and leaving your nostrils, you are performing a neurological magic trick. You are pulling energy and blood flow away from the default mode network and redirecting it to your sensory cortex. You are literally quieting down the part of your brain that generates anxiety and regret. You are not killing the storyteller. You are just politely asking it to take a break while you listen to the quiet, steady rhythm of your own life force. So, how do you bring this miraculous practice into your own life? Let us walk through it step by step. You do not need a special cushion or a silent cave. You just need you and your breath. Find a comfortable position. You can sit in a chair with your feet flat on the floor and your spine straight, or you can sit cross-legged on the floor. The key is to be comfortable but alert, so do not lie down at first as you may fall asleep. Gently close your eyes. For the first minute, just observe your breath without trying to change it. Notice the sensation of the air as it enters your nostrils. Is it cool? Notice your chest and belly rising on the inhale and falling on the exhale. Just watch, like a curious scientist observing a natural phenomenon. Now begin to silently introduce the mantra. As you begin a slow, gentle inhale, silently say to yourself, "So." Draw the breath and the sound out for a comfortable length, perhaps 4 to 5 seconds. As you begin to exhale, slowly and completely, silently say to yourself, Let the exhale be slightly longer than the inhale, perhaps 6 to 7 seconds. This longer exhale is especially powerful for activating your parasympathetic nervous system, and that is it. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Your only job is to rest your attention on this gentle rhythm. Now inevitably your mind will wander. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you have a human mind. A thought will pop up about dinner, or a memory from childhood, or a worry about tomorrow. The moment you realize your mind has wandered, you have just succeeded. The moment of realizing you are distracted is a moment of pure mindfulness. Do not get angry or frustrated with yourself. Simply smile inwardly at your busy mind, and then gently, lovingly, guide your attention back to the breath, back to Soham. This process of wandering and returning is the exercise itself. Every time you return to the breath, you are strengthening your muscle of focus. You are doing one more repetition in the gym of mindfulness. Start with just 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes is achievable for anyone. It is better to do 5 minutes every day than 1 hour once a month. Consistency is the key. As you get more comfortable, you can extend the time to 10, 15, or even 20 minutes. But the true power of Soham is unleashed when you take it off the meditation cushion and bring it into your life. This is where you transform it from a practice into a way of being. Use it as your pattern interrupt for negativity. You are stuck in a traffic jam and you feel the anger and frustration rising. Stop. Before you honk the horn or curse, just take one conscious breath. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Notice how it instantly diffuses the tension. You are still in traffic, but you are no longer a prisoner to it. You are about to have a difficult conversation with your partner or your boss. Before you walk into the room, stand outside the door for a moment. Take 3 so hum breaths. This will center you, grounding you in a place of calm rather than reactivity. You are trying to fall asleep, but your mind is racing. Instead of tossing and turning, just lie on your back and tune into your breath. So hum. It will guide you gently from the shores of anxiety into the quiet ocean of sleep. Use it while doing mundane tasks. Washing the dishes. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Folding laundry. So hum. Taking a walk? Match the mantra to your footsteps. This is how you infuse the sacred into the ordinary. This is how you turn your entire life into a meditation. You begin to walk through your day with a quiet, secret anchor to peace that you can access at any time. The miracle of Soham is the miracle of self-awareness. It is the realization that you are not the chaotic storm of your thoughts and emotions. You are the calm, silent, unchangeable sky that is witnessing the storm. The storm will always come and go. The clouds will gather and disperse. But the sky remains. The Soham mantra is the tool that allows you to shift your identity from the storm to the sky. It helps you to remember who you truly are. You are not your past. You are not your future. You are not your job title, or your bank account, or your relationship status. You are that. You are a divine, eternal expression of the one universal consciousness, breathing and being in this sacred, precious, and powerful present moment. Breathe in and know that you are breathing in the whole universe. Breathe out and know that you are a perfect and unique expression of it. So hum. I am that. And in that simple realization, you will find a peace that cannot be shaken and a freedom that has no end. Chapter 5. The Aramaic Command. Fatha. The Miracle of Opening. There is a particular kind of suffering that is unique to the human experience. It is not the sharp, clean pain of a physical injury, nor is it the soft, aching grief of a loss. It is the dull, heavy, and suffocating feeling of being utterly and completely stuck. It is the feeling of pushing with all your might against a door that will not budge. It is the feeling of being a powerful river, full of life and potential, but meeting a dam of solid concrete that stops your flow entirely, turning your vibrant, moving water into a stagnant, lifeless pond. It is the feeling of being a seed, buried deep in the dark earth, knowing you contain the blueprint for a magnificent tree, but finding the soil around you as hard as rock, preventing you from sprouting. This feeling of stagnation, of being trapped in a life that is too small for your soul, is one of the most disheartening states a person can endure. It breeds a sense of hopelessness that can drain the color from the world and make every day feel like a repetition of the last. You might feel it in your career, where you have hit a glass ceiling and see no path forward. You might feel it in your finances, where no matter how hard you work, you seem to be running in place, always just getting by but never getting ahead. You might feel it in your relationships, a cold distance that you do not know how to bridge, or a pattern of attracting the same painful dynamics over and over again. You might feel it in your own health or creativity, a sense of blockage and inertia that you cannot seem to shake. The spiritual tools we have discussed so far, the sublime connection of OM and the present moment anchor of Soham, are incredibly powerful for creating a baseline of peace and self-awareness. They are the act of cultivating fertile soil. They bring you into a state of calm acceptance and presence. But sometimes, the soil has a giant boulder sitting in the middle of it. Sometimes acceptance is not enough. Sometimes what you need is a breakthrough. Sometimes you do not need to just be with the locked door. You need a master key, or perhaps even a divine battering ram. You need more than a gentle hum, you need a word of power. A word that does not just describe a state of being, but actively commands a change in reality. A word that pierces through the fog of limitation and announces that the time for being stuck is over. For this, we turn from the ancient Sanskrit of the East to another powerful vibrational language from the Middle East, the ancient tongue of Aramaic. Languages are not just collections of arbitrary sounds we use to label things. Every language carries a unique energetic signature, a specific resonance that has been shaped by the consciousness of the people who spoke it for millennia. Ancient languages like Sanskrit, Hebrew, and Aramaic are often considered by mystics to be particularly potent. They are seen as being closer to the source code of creation, their sounds and shapes holding a more direct connection to the fundamental vibrations of the universe. Aramaic holds a particularly unique place in the spiritual consciousness of much of the world. It was the common language spoken in Judea during the time of Jesus of Nazareth. It was the language he used to teach his parables, to speak with his disciples, and according to the accounts, to perform miracles. Regardless of your personal religious beliefs, whether you see Jesus as a divine being, a prophet, or a great spiritual master, the stories of his life have imprinted a powerful energetic blueprint upon the collective human consciousness. To speak a word that he spoke is to tap into a 2,000-year-old stream of faith, power, and belief. It is to pick up a tool that has been charged with an immense amount of focused human intention. The word we will work with from this powerful lineage is Ephatha. It is pronounced Ephatha with the emphasis on the last syllable. In the Gospel of Mark, in the New Testament of the Bible, there is a powerful and detailed story of healing. A man is brought to Jesus who is deaf and has a speech impediment. He can barely hear and he can barely speak. His channels of communication with the world are blocked. Imagine the profound isolation of this man. He lives in a world of muffled silence, unable to fully receive the words of others, and unable to fully express the thoughts within his own heart. He is the very definition of being stuck, trapped within the silent prison of his own body. The story tells us that Jesus took the man aside, away from the crowd. This is a crucial first step. The work of true change is often intimate and personal, not a public performance. Then the account says that Jesus put his fingers into the man's ears and he spat and touched his tongue. This is a strange, earthy, and physical act. It is about grounding the spiritual intention into the physical reality. Then it says, he looked up to heaven and sighed. This is the moment of connection and intention. He looked up, aligning himself with the divine, with the source of all power, and he sighed. A deep, guttural expression of focused energy and profound empathy for the man's suffering. And after all this preparation, after taking the man aside, after the physical touch, after aligning with the divine will, he spoke a single powerful command. He spoke the Aramaic word, Ephatha, and the scripture says that immediately the man's ears were opened, his tongue was released, and he began to speak plainly. This story is not just a historical account of a physical healing that happened 2,000 years ago. It is a timeless, symbolic blueprint for how to create a breakthrough in your own life. We must learn to read it not with our literal minds, but with our spiritual hearts. For many of us today are suffering from a form of spiritual deafness. We are deaf to the knocking of opportunity. The universe is constantly presenting us with new paths, new ideas, and new people. But we are so tuned into our own internal radio station of "it's impossible" or "that would never work for me," that we do not even hear the knock on the door. A friend might mention a book that contains the very idea you need, but you are deaf to the recommendation. You might overhear a conversation about a job opening that is perfect for you, but you dismiss it as a coincidence. You are deaf to the synchronicities. Your intuition, your higher self, is constantly whispering guidance to you, but its voice is drowned out by the loud shouting of your fear and your inner critic. We are also deaf to love and praise. Someone can give us a genuine compliment, and it is as if we have a spiritual shield that deflects it before it can land. We do not let the goodness in because on a deep level, we do not believe we are worthy of it. So we remain in a state of lack, not because good things are not being offered, but because our ears are closed to receiving them. And many of us suffer from a spiritual muteness. We have a truth in our hearts that we are terrified to speak. It might be telling your family what you truly want for your life, rather than what they expect of you. It might be asking for the raise or the promotion you know you deserve at work. It might be expressing your true feelings to your partner, the vulnerable truths that you keep locked away for fear of rejection. We are mute when it comes to setting boundaries, unable to say a clear and simple no to things that drain our energy and violate our peace. and many of us are mute when it comes to our own creative expression. There is a song in your heart that you are not singing, a book you are not writing, a painting you are not painting, because the fear of judgment has taped your creative mouth shut. This spiritual deafness and muteness is the source of our stagnation. We cannot receive guidance and we cannot express our truth. We are like cosmic radios that can neither receive a clear signal nor broadcast our own unique song. We are stuck. This is where the power of Ephatha comes in. It is a command you speak not just to the universe, but to yourself. It is a declaration that the time for being closed is over. It is a direct order to your own consciousness, to your own energy field, to every cell in your body. It means be opened. When you speak this word with focused intention, you are not asking politely, you are not hoping, you are commanding. You are stepping into your role as a co-creator with the divine and declaring a new reality into being. You are saying to the universe and to your own soul, be opened to new opportunities and possibilities. Be open to the flow of abundance and prosperity. Be opened to hearing the voice of my intuition with crystal clarity. Be opened to receiving love, help, and support from others. Be opened, my heart, so that I may give and receive love freely. Be opened, my throat, so that I may speak my truth with courage and conviction. Be opened, my mind, to new ideas, new perspectives, and solutions that I could not see before. Be opened, my path forward, even where there appears to be no path at all. To understand the energy of this command, we must first understand the energy of being stuck. Energetically, the feeling of being stuck is a state of constriction. It is a tightening, a clenching, a holding on. Think about how your body reacts when you are afraid or anxious. Your shoulders tense up and rise towards your ears. You clench your jaw. You might hold your breath. Your stomach ties itself in knots. This physical constriction is a mirror of your energetic constriction. Fear causes you to pull your energy field in, to become smaller, to create a protective shell around yourself. The problem is that this protective shell, designed to keep you safe, also becomes your prison. It keeps out the bad, but it also keeps out the good. Nothing new can get in. Abundance cannot flow into a clenched fist. Love cannot penetrate a shielded heart. Inspiration cannot land in a closed mind. Your life force energy, your prana, which is meant to flow through you like a river, becomes blocked and stagnant. This stagnation is the energetic root of disease, of depression, of lack, and of frustration. The command Ephatha is a direct energetic counterforce to this constriction. The vibration of the word itself is expansive. It forces a release of breath. You cannot say Ephatha with power while holding your breath and clenching your muscles. Try it. To truly declare it, you must open your mouth, engage your diaphragm, and push the energy out from your core. It is an inherently expansive and releasing act. When you declare Ephatha, you are sending a powerful vibrational shock wave through your entire energy field, commanding the constricted, fearful parts of you to release their grip. You are consciously choosing to move from a state of fear-based contraction to a state of faith-based expansion. You are declaring your willingness to be vulnerable, to be open, to receive. It is an act of profound courage. It is saying to the universe, I am willing to let go of the familiar misery of my stuckness in order to open myself to the unknown glory of my potential. Let us imagine a man named Thomas. Thomas has been working in the same accounting firm for 15 years. He is good at his job, but he feels a deep and abiding sense of emptiness every Sunday night when he thinks about the week ahead. He dreams of doing something more creative, perhaps landscape design, but his mind immediately floods with objections. You're too old to start a new career. You have a mortgage to pay. You don't have any formal training. You'll fail. His spiritual ears are deaf to the call of his soul, and his spiritual mouth is mute, unable to even speak his dream out loud to his wife for fear of being ridiculed. His life is a stagnant pond of quiet desperation. He feels completely, hopelessly stuck. One day he comes across the concept of Ephatha. It resonates with the part of him that is yearning for a breakthrough. He decides to try it, following the blueprint from the ancient story. One evening, he goes into his backyard, a space he has always loved. This is his act of taking himself aside, away from the noise and doubt. He stands on the grass and takes a moment to truly feel the depth of his stuckness, the grayness of his life. He does not try to fight it. He acknowledges the reality of the dam that has blocked his joy. This is his physical touch, connecting with the problem. Then he looks up at the night sky, at the vast expanse of the stars. He feels a sense of something much bigger than his small, fearful ego. He aligns himself with that vastness. He takes a deep, sighing breath, pouring all of his frustration, all of his longing, all of his hope into that one exhale. And then he speaks the word. He does not whisper it. He says it with a power he did not know he possessed. His voice clear and strong in the cool night air. Ephphatha, be opened. He does not see a flash of lightning or hear a divine voice. He just feels a subtle shift inside himself, a small release of the tension he has been carrying in his chest for years. The next day, nothing seems different. He goes to work. But as he is scrolling through his local news feed during his lunch break, an article catches his eye. Local community college announces new certificate program in sustainable landscape design. The old Thomas would have seen it and dismissed it instantly, his mind saying, "That's not for you." But today, because he has commanded his ears to be opened, he hears the knock. He clicks the link. He sees they have an open house that very evening. A wave of fear washes over him, but then he remembers the command. He takes a breath. That evening he goes to the open house. He walks into a room full of people who are passionate about plants and design, and he feels a spark of life that he has not felt in years. For the first time, he speaks his dream out loud to a stranger, an instructor at the college. His spiritual mouth has been opened. The journey for Thomas is not over. He still has to do the work. He enrolls in a part-time course. He has to balance his old job with his new passion, but the dam has a crack in it. The stagnant water is beginning to move. Ephphatha did not magically turn him into a landscape designer overnight. It did something more important. It opened the first door. It cleared the first blockage. It made the impossible seem possible and gave him the courage to take the first terrifying step. It broke the spell of stagnation and set the river of his life back in motion. So how do we bring this powerful, life-altering command into our own lives? This is not a mantra for gentle daily meditation like Soham. This is a tool for breakthrough. You use it when you are at your wit's end, when you have tried everything else, when you are standing before a solid brick wall. It is a spiritual emergency flare. Let us create a practical ritual for you to use. First, identify the blockage with absolute clarity. You must know which door you are commanding to be opened. Do not be vague. Do not just say, "I want my life to be better." Get specific. Take out a piece of paper and write it down. I am stuck in a cycle of debt and I cannot see a way out. I am stuck in a lonely and unfulfilling relationship. My creative well has run dry and I feel no inspiration. I have been applying for new jobs for a year with no success. Naming the specific wall you are facing gives your intention a clear target. Second, go to a private space where you will not be disturbed. This is your act of taking yourself aside. It could be a room in your house, out in nature, or even in your parked car. The important thing is that you feel safe to be emotionally expressive. Third, connect with the feeling of the blockage. This is crucial. Do not try to be all positive and light. Allow yourself to feel the full weight of the frustration, the hopelessness, the anger, the sadness of being stuck. Place your hands on the part of your body where you feel this stuckness. Is it a weight on your chest, a knot in your stomach, a lump in your throat, a tension in your head? Breathe into that feeling, acknowledge its presence. You are not celebrating the feeling, you are honoring its message. You are preparing to transform it. This is the physical touch part of the ritual. Fourth, align with a higher power. This is the looking up to heaven. It does not matter what you call this power. God, universe, source, life force, higher self. The point is to acknowledge that you are not doing this with your ego's limited strength alone. You are co-creating with the infinite intelligence of the cosmos. You can say something like, I am now aligning my personal will with the divine will. I ask for this door to be opened only if it is for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. This is a vital safeguard. It prevents the ego from using this powerful command for selfish or harmful ends. It ensures that the breakthrough you are calling for is in true alignment with your soul's path. Fifth, take the deep, intentional breath. This is the sigh from the story. It is not a sigh of resignation, it is a sigh of power. Breathe in as deeply as you possibly can, gathering all your frustration, all your desire for change, all your hope into your lungs. Hold it for a moment. Sixth, speak the word. As you exhale, let the word Ephatha explode out of you. Say it from your gut. Command it. Declare it. Do not be shy. Let your voice be firm and full of conviction. As you say it, visualize exactly what you want to happen. See the wall in front of you crumbling into dust. See the locked door swinging open on its hinges. See the dam bursting and the river of your life flowing free and fast. See a brilliant white or golden light flooding into the area of your life that was once dark and stagnant. Feel the energetic release in your body as you speak. Seventh, and this is very important, let it go. After you have made the command, your work is done. Do not keep pushing and striving and worrying about it. This is the hardest part for most people. You have placed your order with the universe. Now you must trust that the divine kitchen is preparing your meal. Your job is to release your desperate attachment to the outcome and to simply remain in a state of open, watchful expectation. Finally, you must look for the evidence of the opening. The universe will almost always answer, but it rarely answers in the exact way your ego expects. You command the door to financial abundance to be opened, and the next day your car breaks down, forcing you to learn about your own spending habits and discover a new, more frugal way of living that ultimately leads to wealth. You declare Ephatha over a toxic relationship, hoping the other person will change, but instead they leave you, opening the path for you to find true love with someone else or with yourself. Ephatha opens the path that is in your highest good, not necessarily the path that is most comfortable. Be vigilant, be aware. Notice the small synchronicities, the new ideas that pop into your head, the unexpected phone calls, the chance meetings. These are the sounds of the tumblers clicking in the lock. These are the first signs that your command has been heard and that the door is beginning to swing open. Ephatha is your declaration of spiritual sovereignty. It is the moment you stop pleading with the universe and start collaborating with it. It is the recognition that you are not a helpless victim of circumstance, but a powerful creator who has been given the authority to command a change. You have within you the ability to speak a word that can shatter the walls of your own self-imposed prisons. When you feel trapped, when the way is dark, when all other avenues seem closed, remember this ancient, powerful command. Take yourself aside, connect with your pain, align with the divine. Take a breath that holds the power of a storm and speak the word that breaks the chains. Speak the word that parts the seas. Speak the word that rolls away the stone. Ephatha, be opened. Chapter 6, the Aramaic command, Ephatha, the miracle of opening. There is a particular kind of suffering that is unique to the human experience. It is not the sharp, clean pain of a physical injury, nor is it the soft, aching grief of a loss. It is the dull, heavy, and suffocating feeling of being utterly and completely stuck. It is the feeling of pushing with all your might against a door that will not budge. It is the feeling of being a powerful river, full of life and potential, but meeting a dam of solid concrete that stops your flow entirely, turning your vibrant, moving water into a stagnant, lifeless pond. It is the feeling of being a seed, buried deep in the dark earth, knowing you contain the blueprint for a magnificent tree, but finding the soil around you as hard as rock, preventing you from sprouting. This feeling of stagnation, of being trapped in a life that is too small for your soul, is one of the most disheartening states a person can endure. It breeds a sense of hopelessness that can drain the color from the world and make every day feel like a repetition of the last. You might feel it in your career, where you have hit a glass ceiling and see no path forward. You might feel it in your finances, where no matter how hard you work, you seem to be running in place, always just getting by, but never getting ahead. You might feel it in your relationships, a cold distance that you do not know how to bridge, or a pattern of attracting the same painful dynamics over and over again. You might feel it in your own health or creativity, a sense of blockage and inertia that you cannot seem to shake. The spiritual tools we have discussed so far, the sublime connection of OM and the present moment anchor of So-Hum, are incredibly powerful for creating a baseline of peace and self-awareness. They are the act of cultivating fertile soil, They bring you into a state of calm acceptance and presence. But sometimes, the soil has a giant boulder sitting in the middle of it. Sometimes acceptance is not enough. Sometimes what you need is a breakthrough. Sometimes you do not need to just be with the locked door. You need a master key, or perhaps even a divine battering ram. You need more than a gentle hum. You need a word of power. A word that does not just describe a state of being, but actively commands a change in reality. A word that pierces through the fog of limitation and announces that the time for being stuck is over. For this, we turn from the ancient Sanskrit of the East to another powerful vibrational language from the Middle East, the ancient tongue of Aramaic. Languages are not just collections of arbitrary sounds we use to label things. Every language carries a unique energetic signature, a specific resonance that has been shaped by the consciousness of the people who spoke it for millennia. Ancient languages like Sanskrit, Hebrew, and Aramaic are often considered by mystics to be particularly potent. They are seen as being closer to the source code of creation, their sounds and shapes holding a more direct connection to the fundamental vibrations of the universe. Aramaic holds a particularly unique place in the spiritual consciousness of much of the world. It was the common language spoken in Judea during the time of Jesus of Nazareth. It was the language he used to teach his parables, to speak with his disciples, and according to the accounts, to perform miracles. Regardless of your personal religious beliefs, whether you see Jesus as a divine being, a prophet, or a great spiritual master, the stories of his life have imprinted a powerful energetic blueprint upon the collective human consciousness. To speak a word that he spoke is to tap into a 2,000-year-old stream of faith, power, and belief. It is to pick up a tool that has been charged with an immense amount of focused human intention. The word we will work with from this powerful lineage is Ephatha. It is pronounced Ephatha with the emphasis on the last syllable. In the Gospel of Mark, in the New Testament of the Bible, there is a powerful and detailed story of healing. A man is brought to Jesus who is deaf and has a speech impediment. He can barely hear and he can barely speak. His channels of communication with the world are blocked. Imagine the profound isolation of this man. He lives in a world of muffled silence, unable to fully receive the words of others, and unable to fully express the thoughts within his own heart. He is the very definition of being stuck, trapped within the silent prison of his own body. The story tells us that Jesus took the man aside, away from the crowd. This is a crucial first step. The work of true change is often intimate and personal, not a public performance. Then the account says that Jesus put his fingers into the man's ears and he spat and touched his tongue. This is a strange, earthy, and physical act. It is about grounding the spiritual intention into the physical reality. Then it says, he looked up to heaven and sighed. This is the moment of connection and intention. He looked up, aligning himself with the divine, with the source of all power. And he sighed, a deep, guttural expression of focused energy and profound empathy for the man's suffering. And after all this preparation, after taking the man aside, after the physical touch, after aligning with the divine will, he spoke a single powerful command. He spoke the Aramaic word, Ephatha, and the scripture says that immediately the man's ears were opened, his tongue was released, and he began to speak plainly. This story is not just a historical account of a physical healing that happened 2,000 years ago. It is a timeless, symbolic blueprint for how to create a breakthrough in your own life. We must learn to read it not with our literal minds, but with our spiritual hearts. For many of us today are suffering from a form of spiritual deafness. We are deaf to the knocking of opportunity. The universe is constantly presenting us with new paths, new ideas, and new people. But we are so tuned into our own internal radio station of, "It's impossible," or "That would never work for me," that we do not even hear the knock on the door. A friend might mention a book that contains the very idea you need, but you are deaf to the recommendation. You might overhear a conversation about a job opening that is perfect for you, but you dismiss it as a coincidence. You are deaf to the synchronicities. Your intuition, your higher self, is constantly whispering guidance to you, but its voice is drowned out by the loud shouting of your fear and your inner critic. We are also deaf to love and praise. Someone can give us a genuine compliment, and it is as if we have a spiritual shield that deflects it before it can land. We do not let the goodness in because on a deep level, we do not believe we are worthy of it. So we remain in a state of lack, not because good things are not being offered, but because our ears are closed to receiving them. And many of us suffer from a spiritual muteness. We have a truth in our hearts that we are terrified to speak. It might be telling your family what you truly want for your life, rather than what they expect of you. It might be asking for the raise or the promotion you know you deserve at work. It might be expressing your true feelings to your partner, the vulnerable truths that you keep locked away for fear of rejection. We are mute when it comes to setting boundaries, unable to say a clear and simple no to things that drain our energy and violate our peace. And many of us are mute when it comes to our own creative expression. There is a song in your heart that you are not singing, a book you are not writing, a painting you are not painting, because the fear of judgment has taped your creative mouth shut. This spiritual deafness and muteness is the source of our stagnation. We cannot receive guidance and we cannot express our truth. We are like cosmic radios that can neither receive a clear signal nor broadcast our own unique song. We are stuck. This is where the power of Ephatha comes in. It is a command you speak not just to the universe, but to yourself. It is a declaration that the time for being closed is over. It is a direct order to your own consciousness, to your own energy field, to every cell in your body. It means be opened. When you speak this word with focused intention, you are not asking politely, you are not hoping, you are commanding. You are stepping into your role as a co-creator with the divine and declaring a new reality into being. You are saying to the universe and to your own soul, be opened to new opportunities and possibilities. Be open to the flow of abundance and prosperity. Be opened to hearing the voice of my intuition with crystal clarity. Be opened to receiving love, help, and support from others. Be opened, my heart, so that I may give and receive love freely. Be opened, my throat, so that I may speak my truth with courage and conviction. Be opened, my mind, to new ideas, new perspectives, and solutions that I could not see before. Be opened, my path forward, even where there appears to be no path at all. To understand the energy of this command, we must first understand the energy of being stuck. Energetically, the feeling of being stuck is a state of constriction. It is a tightening, a clenching, a holding on. Think about how your body reacts when you are afraid or anxious. Your shoulders tense up and rise towards your ears. You clench your jaw. You might hold your breath. Your stomach ties itself in knots. This physical constriction is a mirror of your energetic constriction. Fear causes you to pull your energy field in, to become smaller, to create a protective shell around yourself. The problem is that this protective shell designed to keep you safe also becomes your prison. It keeps out the bad, but it also keeps out the good. Nothing new can get in. Abundance cannot flow into a clenched fist. Love cannot penetrate a shielded heart. Inspiration cannot land in a closed mind. Your life force energy, your prana, which is meant to flow through you like a river, becomes blocked and stagnant. This stagnation is the energetic root of disease, of depression, of lack, and of frustration. The command Ephatha is a direct energetic counterforce to this constriction. The vibration of the word itself is expansive. It forces a release of breath. You cannot say Ephatha with power while holding your breath and clenching your muscles. Try it. To truly declare it, you must open your mouth, engage your diaphragm, and push the energy out from your core. It is an inherently expansive and releasing act. When you declare Ephatha, you are sending a powerful vibrational shock wave through your entire energy field, commanding the constricted, fearful parts of you to release their grip. You are consciously choosing to move from a state of fear-based contraction to a state of faith-based expansion. You are declaring your willingness to be vulnerable, to be open, to receive. It is an act of profound courage. It is saying to the universe, I am willing to let go of the familiar misery of my stuckness in order to open myself to the unknown glory of my potential. Let us imagine a man named Thomas. Thomas has been working in the same accounting firm for 15 years. He is good at his job, but he feels a deep and abiding sense of emptiness every Sunday night when he thinks about the week ahead. He dreams of doing something more creative, perhaps landscape design, but his mind immediately floods with objections. You're too old to start a new career. You have a mortgage to pay. You don't have any formal training. You'll fail. His spiritual ears are deaf to the call of his soul, and his spiritual mouth is mute, unable to even speak his dream out loud to his wife for fear of being ridiculed. His life is a stagnant pond of quiet desperation. He feels completely, hopelessly stuck. One day he comes across the concept of Ephatha. It resonates with the part of him that is yearning for a breakthrough. He decides to try it, following the blueprint from the ancient story. One evening he goes into his backyard, a space he has always loved. This is his act of taking himself aside, away from the noise and doubt. He stands on the grass and takes a moment to truly feel the depth of his stuckness, the grayness of his life. He does not try to fight it. He acknowledges the reality of the dam that has blocked his joy. This is his physical touch connecting with the problem. Then he looks up at the night sky, at the vast expanse of the stars. He feels a sense of something much bigger than his small, fearful ego. He aligns himself with that vastness. He takes a deep, sighing breath, pouring all of his frustration, all of his longing, all of his hope into that one exhale. And then he speaks the word. He does not whisper it. He says it with a power he did not know he possessed, his voice clear and strong in the cool night air. Ephatha, be opened. He does not see a flash of lightning or hear a divine voice. He just feels a subtle shift inside himself, a small release of the tension he has been carrying in his chest for years. The next day, nothing seems different. He goes to work. But as he is scrolling through his local news feed during his lunch break, an article catches his eye. Local community college announces new certificate program in sustainable landscape design. The old Thomas would have seen it and dismissed it instantly, his mind saying, "That's not for you." But today, because he has commanded his ears to be opened, he hears the knock. He clicks the link, he sees they have an open house that very evening. A wave of fear washes over him, but then he remembers the command. He takes a breath. That evening he goes to the open house. He walks into a room full of people who are passionate about plants and design, and he feels a spark of life that he has not felt in years. For the first time he speaks his dream out loud to a stranger, an instructor at the college. His spiritual mouth has been opened. The journey for Thomas is not over. He still has to do the work. He enrolls in a part-time course. He has to balance his old job with his new passion, but the dam has a crack in it. The stagnant water is beginning to move. Ephatha did not magically turn him into a landscape designer overnight. It did something more important. It opened the first door. It cleared the first blockage. It made the impossible seem possible and gave him the courage to take the first terrifying step. It broke the spell of stagnation and set the river of his life back in motion. So how do we bring this powerful, life-altering command into our own lives? This is not a mantra for gentle daily meditation like Soham. This is a tool for breakthrough. You use it when you are at your wit's end, when you have tried everything else, when you are standing before a solid brick wall. It is a spiritual emergency flare. Let us create a practical ritual for you to use. First, identify the blockage with absolute clarity. You must know which door you are commanding to be opened. Do not be vague. Do not just say, "I want my life to be better." Get specific. Take out a piece of paper and write it down. I am stuck in a cycle of debt and I cannot see a way out. I am stuck in a lonely and unfulfilling relationship. My creative well has run dry and I feel no inspiration. I have been applying for new jobs for a year with no success. Naming the specific wall you are facing gives your intention a clear target. Second, go to a private space where you will not be disturbed. This is your act of taking yourself aside. It could be a room in your house, out in nature, or even in your parked car. The important thing is that you feel safe to be emotionally expressive. Third, connect with the feeling of the blockage. This is crucial. Do not try to be all positive and light. Allow yourself to feel the full weight of the frustration, the hopelessness, the anger, the sadness of being stuck. Place your hands on the part of your body where you feel this stuckness. Is it a weight on your chest, a knot in your stomach, a lump in your throat, a tension in your head? Breathe into that feeling, acknowledge its presence. You are not celebrating the feeling, you are honoring its message. You are preparing to transform it. This is the physical touch part of the ritual. Fourth, align with a higher power. This is the looking up to heaven, It does not matter what you call this power. God, universe, source, life force, higher self. The point is to acknowledge that you are not doing this with your ego's limited strength alone. You are co-creating with the infinite intelligence of the cosmos. You can say something like, I am now aligning my personal will with the divine will. I ask for this door to be opened only if it is for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. This is a vital safeguard. It prevents the ego from using this powerful command for selfish or harmful ends. It ensures that the breakthrough you are calling for is in true alignment with your soul's path. Fifth, take the deep, intentional breath. This is the sigh from the story. It is not a sigh of resignation. It is a sigh of power. Breathe in as deeply as you possibly can, gathering all your frustration, all your desire for change, all your hope into your lungs. Hold it for a moment. Sixth, speak the word. As you exhale, let the word Ephatha explode out of you. Say it from your gut. Command it. Declare it. Do not be shy. Let your voice be firm and full of conviction. As you say it, visualize exactly what you want to happen. See the wall in front of you crumbling into dust. See the locked door swinging open on its hinges. See the dam bursting and the river of your life flowing free and fast. See a brilliant white or golden light flooding into the area of your life that was once dark and stagnant. Feel the energetic release in your body as you speak. Seventh, and this is very important, let it go. After you have made the command, your work is done. Do not keep pushing and striving and worrying about it. This is the hardest part for most people. You have placed your order with the universe. Now you must trust that the divine kitchen is preparing your meal. Your job is to release your desperate attachment to the outcome and to simply remain in a state of open, watchful expectation. Finally, you must look for the evidence of the opening. The universe will almost always answer, but it rarely answers in the exact way your ego expects. You command the door to financial abundance to be opened, and the next day, your car breaks down, forcing you to learn about your own spending habits and discover a new, more frugal way of living that ultimately leads to wealth. You declare Ephatha over a toxic relationship, hoping the other person will change, but instead, they leave you, opening the path for you to find true love with someone else, or with yourself. Ephatha opens the path that is in your highest good, not necessarily the path that is most comfortable. Be vigilant, be aware. Notice the small synchronicities, the new ideas that pop into your head, the unexpected phone calls, the chance meetings. These are the sounds of the tumblers clicking in the lock. These are the first signs that your command has been heard and that the door is beginning to swing open. Ephatha is your declaration of spiritual sovereignty. It is the moment you stop pleading with the universe and start collaborating with it. It is the recognition that you are not a helpless victim of circumstance, but a powerful creator who has been given the authority to command a change. You have within you the ability to speak a word that can shatter the walls of your own self-imposed prisons. When you feel trapped, when the way is dark, when all other avenues seem closed, remember this ancient, powerful command. Take yourself aside, connect with your pain, align with the divine, take a breath that holds the power of a storm, and speak the word that breaks the chains. Speak the word that parts the seas. Speak the word that rolls away the stone. Ephatha, be opened. Chapter 7, The Vibration of Divine Love. Aham Prema, the miracle of healing the heart. If there is a single force that has inspired more poetry, more art, more music, and more acts of both sublime courage and devastating foolishness than any other, it is the quest for love. From the moment we are born, we seek it. We seek it in our mother's arms, in our father's approval, in the friendships of our youth, and in the passionate embrace of a romantic partner. The desire to love and to be loved is woven into the very fabric of our DNA. It is the fundamental motivating energy of the human heart. Yet for so many of us, this most natural and essential of quests becomes a source of our deepest and most persistent pain. Our hearts, which were designed to be open, flowing fountains of connection, become scarred battlegrounds of past hurts, fortified castles of fear, or barren deserts of loneliness. We come to believe that love is something outside of ourselves, a scarce commodity that must be earned, won, or fought for. We believe that we must be smart enough, attractive enough, successful enough, or good enough to finally be worthy of receiving it. We spend our lives performing, perfecting, and pleasing, all in the desperate hope that someone will finally look at us and grant us the love we so deeply crave. This entire paradigm, this entire painful search, is based on a single, tragic misunderstanding. It is the greatest lie the human ego ever told, and it is a lie that has caused more suffering than all the wars in history combined. The lie is this, that love is something you get from someone else. The truth, the profound and liberating truth that we will explore in this chapter, is that you are not a beggar, pleading for scraps of love from the world's table. You are the table itself, laden with an infinite feast. You are not a vessel waiting to be filled with love. You are the fountain from which all love flows. The most profound spiritual traditions have always known this. They teach that love is not an emotion you feel for someone, it is the very substance of your being. It is the stuff you are made of. You are not just capable of love, you are in your truest essence love itself. And there is a sacred phrase, a powerful vibrational key from the ancient Sanskrit language that is designed to unlock this realization within you. It is a phrase that acts as the ultimate antidote to the core wound of unworthiness. The phrase is aham prema, pronounced ahum prema. It is a simple, elegant, and earth-shatteringly powerful declaration. It means I am divine love. This is not a statement about your personality. It is not saying I am a loving person. It is not a statement about your actions. It is not saying I do loving things. It is a statement about your fundamental identity. It is a declaration of your essential nature. It is an affirmation that cuts deeper than your job title, your relationship status, your personal history, or any label you or society has ever placed upon you. At the absolute core of your being, beneath all the layers of fear, conditioning, and personality, you are a localized expression of the same unconditional, creative, intelligent love that spun the galaxies into existence and painted the wings of a butterfly. The miracle of Aham Prema is the miracle of healing the heart. But it does not heal the heart by attracting a perfect partner or fixing a broken relationship, although those things can be beautiful side effects. It heals the heart from the inside out, by reminding it of what it has forgotten. It heals the heart by guiding it back to its own infinite, internal, and inexhaustible source. To fully grasp the power of this phrase, let us first deconstruct it. The first word, aham, means I am. This is a deeper and more fundamental I than the one we use in daily life. It is not the ego self, the personality that is defined by its likes and dislikes, its history and its fears. The I of Aham is the I of pure consciousness. It is the silent, aware presence that we connected with in the silence after the OM chant. It is the changeless witness, the true self, the spark of the divine within you. It is the I that exists before you add any other label. Before you were a man or a woman, a success or a failure, you were simply I am. To invoke Aham is to connect with this deepest, most authentic core of your being. It is a powerful grounding statement of your own divine existence. The second word, prema, is the critical component. In Sanskrit, there are many words for love, each describing a different facet of this complex experience. There is kama, which refers to sensual desire and longing. There is sneha, which refers to affection and fondness, the kind you might feel for a friend or a family member. But prema is something else entirely. Prema is divine, unconditional love. It is the love that has no opposite. It is not dependent on circumstances, behavior, or reciprocity. It is a love that simply is. It is the kind of love a compassionate mother feels for her newborn child, a love that exists simply because the child exists. It is the kind of love the sun has for the earth, shining its light and warmth freely, without asking for anything in return. Prema is the underlying attractive force of the universe, the cosmic gravity that holds everything together in a state of relationship. It is the creative intelligence that orchestrates the dance of life. It is the space of pure acceptance in which everything is allowed to be exactly as it is. Prema is the energy of God. So when you put these two words together, Aham Prema, You are making one of the most powerful affirmations possible. You are declaring that your truest identity, your core self, is one and the same as this universal, unconditional, divine love. You are not saying you are trying to be loving. You are saying that love is your very substance. You are not a wave seeking the ocean. You are the ocean declaring itself in the form of a wave. This is a radical and revolutionary idea for most of us, because we have been so deeply programmed with the opposite belief, the great lie of our own unworthiness. This lie is the primary source of static that blocks our hearts from experiencing the love that is our birthright. Let us explore how this core wound of unworthiness, this belief that I am not lovable, gets installed in our systems. For most of us, it begins in early childhood. As children, we are completely dependent on the love and approval of our caregivers for our very survival. Our subconscious minds quickly learn to associate being loved with being safe. We then start to observe what gets us that love and approval. We might notice that when we are quiet, well-behaved, and get good grades, our parents smile and praise us. We receive love. But when we are loud, angry, or make a mistake, they frown, scold us, or withdraw their affection. In that moment, the child's mind, in its simplicity, does not think, "My parents are tired and are having a bad day." The child thinks, "There is something wrong with me. When I am this way, I am not lovable." A rule is created. To be loved, I must be good, perfect, and quiet. This is the birth of conditional love. We learn that love is not a constant, but something that is given and taken away based on our performance. This initial programming is then reinforced by society. Our culture bombards us with thousands of messages a day that are all designed to prey on this core wound. Advertisements tell us we are not lovable unless we buy their car, wear their jeans, or use their anti-aging cream. The message is always the same. You, as you are right now, are not enough. You are lacking. But if you acquire this external thing, then you will finally be complete and worthy of love. Social media becomes a giant comparison engine where we scroll through the carefully curated highlight reels of other people's lives and inevitably find our own wanting. We see their perfect relationships, their exotic vacations, their successful careers, and the old childhood voice whispers, "See, they have it all figured out. You are falling behind. You are not good enough." Romantic movies and novels present us with an idealized fairy tale version of love that is all about finding that one soulmate who will finally see us, save us, and make us whole. This reinforces the dangerous idea that we are incomplete, half beings, searching for our other half to finally feel loved. Then, we carry this core wound into our own relationships. We enter into partnerships not as two whole individuals coming together to share their fullness, but as two wounded individuals hoping the other person will heal their emptiness. We engage in a form of unspoken contract. I will love you if you make me feel good about myself. I will love you if you never abandon me. I will love you if you meet all my needs. This is not love. It is a transaction. It is destined to fail because no human being can carry the impossible burden of making another person feel whole. When the relationship inevitably hits a rough patch, or when the other person fails to live up to our fantasy, our core wound is triggered. "See," the voice says, "I knew it. I am unlovable." They finally saw the real me, and now they are pulling away. We then either self-sabotage the relationship to prove our own belief correct, or we become clingy and desperate, trying to force the other person to give us the love we are not giving ourselves. This painful cycle repeats itself, relationship after relationship, each heartbreak adding another layer of scar tissue over our hearts, making it harder and harder to believe that true, unconditional love is even possible for us. This is the prison that most people live in. It is a prison built on the lie of unworthiness. The mantra Aham Prema is the master key that unlocks the door. It is a direct and powerful tool for reprogramming this faulty core belief. You are using a sacred sound, a vibrational frequency, to override the old, static-filled program of I am not enough. With every repetition of Aham Prema, you are laying down a new neural pathway in your brain. You are taking the needle off the scratched old record of self-criticism and placing it in the clean, smooth groove of self-love. You are not trying to convince yourself of something that is not true. you are reminding yourself of the truth you have forgotten. Let us look at the science of why this works, specifically through the lens of the heart. For centuries, we thought of the heart as a simple mechanical pump. But modern research, particularly from pioneering organizations like the HeartMath Institute, has revealed that the heart is an incredibly complex and intelligent center of perception and communication. Your heart generates a powerful electromagnetic field, the most powerful of any organ in your body. This field is about 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical activity generated by your brain, and it can be measured several feet away from your body with sensitive magnetometers. Your heart is literally broadcasting an energetic signal out into the world around you. The quality of this signal changes dramatically depending on your emotional state. When you are feeling stressful emotions like anger, frustration, or anxiety, your heart rhythm becomes erratic, disordered, and incoherent. The signal you broadcast is chaotic and jagged. However, when you experience positive, heart-centered emotions like love, gratitude, compassion, or appreciation, your heart rhythm magically smooths out, becoming a beautiful, harmonious, and coherent wave pattern. This state is called heart coherence. And here is the truly fascinating part. Your heart sends far more information to your brain than your brain sends to your heart. There is a constant, two-way conversation happening between your two most powerful organs. When your heart is broadcasting a chaotic, incoherent signal, it sends a message of alarm to your brain. This shuts down your higher cognitive functions, the parts of your brain responsible for clear thinking, problem solving, and creativity. It locks you into a state of fight or flight, where you can only react from a place of fear. But when you consciously generate a state of heart coherence by feeling love or gratitude, your heart broadcasts a smooth, harmonious signal to your brain. This signal tells the brain that you are safe. This opens up your prefrontal cortex, enhancing your ability to think clearly, to find creative solutions, and to feel empathy and connection. So when you practice the Aham Prema meditation, you are not just thinking a nice thought. You are consciously taking control of your own biology. You are actively shifting your heart rhythms from a state of incoherence to a state of coherence. You are changing the signal you are broadcasting, both to your own brain and out into the energetic field around you. You are literally becoming a more powerful, intelligent, and resilient being. And by the laws of resonance we discussed earlier, the coherent signal you broadcast from your heart begins to attract experiences and people that match that frequency. When you broadcast the signal of love, you become a magnet for loving experiences. You do not need to chase love anymore because you have become the very thing you were seeking. Let us tell the story of a woman named Eleanor. Eleanor was a classic people pleaser. Her entire life was structured around making other people happy, often at the expense of her own needs and desires. She believed that her value came from her usefulness to others. She was the one who always said yes, who always stayed late at work, who always listened to her friends' problems but never shared her own. She was terrified that if she stopped giving, people would stop loving her. Her relationships were a string of partners who took advantage of her kindness, seeing her as a caregiver rather than an equal. She felt perpetually exhausted, resentful, and deeply lonely, even when surrounded by people. One day, after a particularly painful breakup where her partner told her she was too needy despite her having given everything, she hit rock bottom. She realized her strategy for finding love was a catastrophic failure. Through a book, she discovered the Aham Prema mantra. The idea that she was already loved seemed absurd to her. Her mind screamed, "No, you are not. You are empty and broken. You need someone else to fill you up." But she was so desperate that she decided to practice it anyway as a kind of science experiment. Every morning for 15 minutes, she would sit, place her hand on her heart, and whisper the words, Aham Prema. At first it felt hollow like a lie, but she persisted. She followed a guided practice that told her to first direct the feeling of love inward. This was the hardest part. She tried to think of one thing she liked about herself, and it was a struggle. She started small. I am grateful for my hands that allow me to cook. I am grateful for my legs that allow me to walk in the park. Slowly, she began to cultivate a tiny spark of appreciation for herself. Then she focused on the feeling of the mantra. She imagined a warm green light glowing in her chest with each repetition. She did not force the feeling of love. She just focused on the visualization of the light. After a few weeks of consistent practice, something began to shift. She noticed that the constant anxious chatter in her head was a little quieter. One day at work, her boss asked her to stay late to finish a non-urgent project. The automatic, of course, was on the tip of her tongue, but then something else rose up. A quiet, firm feeling from her heart. She heard herself say, "I'm sorry, I can't tonight. I have another commitment." Her boss just said, "Okay, no problem," and walked away. Eleanor stood there stunned. She had not been fired. The world had not ended. For the first time, she had honored her own need for rest, and it was okay. This was a massive turning point. She continued her practice, and the green light in her heart felt warmer and more real each day. She started to make more choices based on what felt loving to herself, not what she thought would please others. She started saying no to things that drained her, and yes to things that nourished her, like taking a painting class she had always dreamed of. She found that some of her friends, the ones who only called when they needed something, started to fall away. But her true friends seemed to draw closer, celebrating her newfound sense of self. One day in her painting class, she was so absorbed in her work, so full of a quiet, simple joy, that she did not notice a man watching her. He later came up and did not compliment her painting, but said, "You have such a peaceful and happy energy about you when you work. It's beautiful to see." They started talking. This new relationship was different from all the others. It was not based on what she could do for him, but on a shared joy and mutual respect. She was not trying to get love from him. She was so full of her own self-generated love that it was simply overflowing, and he was attracted to that overflow. The Aham Prema mantra did not bring her a man to complete her. It made her so complete in herself that she could finally experience a healthy, interdependent love for the first time in her life. She had healed her heart by finally realizing she was its source. Now, let us create the sacred practice for you. This is a practice of deep tenderness and self-compassion. It is best done daily, perhaps in the morning to set a loving tone for your day, or at night to release the hurts of the day and return to your true nature. First, find your sacred space. Sit comfortably in a chair or on a cushion with your spine erect but relaxed. This is a posture of quiet dignity. Dim the lights if you can. Let this be a time that is just for you, a date with your own soul. Second, begin with the breath. Close your eyes and take 3 deep, cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose, deep into your belly. And as you exhale through your mouth, make an audible sigh, releasing the tensions of your day. With each exhale, imagine you are letting go of the need to be anything or anyone other than who you are right now. Third, bring your awareness to your heart. Place one or both of your hands over the center of your chest. This physical touch is powerful. It brings your conscious awareness directly to your heart center. Just feel the warmth of your hands. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest with each breath. Perhaps you can even feel the faint, steady rhythm of your own heartbeat. This is the rhythm of your life. Just rest here for a moment, in simple connection with your physical heart. Fourth, introduce the mantra. You can whisper it out loud so you can feel the vibration, or you can say it silently in your mind. The power is in the feeling behind it. As you inhale, silently say Aham. As you exhale, silently say Prema. Find a gentle, easy rhythm that matches your breath. Inhale, Aham. Exhale, Prema. I am divine love. Do not force it. Let the words be soft, like a gentle rain on dry ground. Fifth, engage your imagination with the visualization of light. As you continue the mantra, begin to imagine a small warm spark of light at the very center of your heart, right beneath your hands. Choose a color that feels loving to you. Many traditions associate the heart with green or a soft rose pink. See this spark of light. With every inhale and every utterance of Aham, see this spark grow a little brighter. With every exhale and every utterance of Prema, see this light softening and expanding. Sixth, begin the first and most important stage, filling yourself. For the next several minutes, your only job is to allow this beautiful light of divine love to fill your own being. Let go of the tendency to immediately want to send it to others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. This is your time to fill your own cup to overflowing. Visualize this loving light filling your entire chest cavity. Then see it spreading down into your abdomen, filling your organs. See it moving down your legs and into your feet, grounding you to the earth. See it rising up into your shoulders, melting away any tension. See it flowing down your arms and into your hands. See it rising up your neck and into your head, filling your brain with a peaceful, loving light. See this light surrounding every single cell of your body, bathing each one in the vibration of unconditional love and acceptance. Stay here as long as you need. This is the act of radical self-love. You are declaring that you are worthy of your own love first. Seventh, once you feel full, brimming with this loving energy, you can begin the second stage, radiating love outwards. Without diminishing the light within you, allow it to begin radiating out from your heart, like the rays of the sun. Think of the people and pets in your life whom you love easily. Your children, your partner, your dearest friends. Picture them in your mind's eye, one by one, and see this beautiful light from your heart extending to them, surrounding them, blessing them. You are not trying to change them or fix them. You are simply sharing your overflow of love with them, with no strings attached. Eighth, if you feel able, you can enter the third stage, universal love. Expand your awareness beyond your immediate circle. See this light from your heart expanding to fill your entire home, then your neighborhood, your city. See it enveloping people you do not know, people you see on the street. If there are people with whom you have difficulty, you can, if you choose, include them in this field of love. This does not condone their behavior. It simply releases you from the painful energetic cord of resentment. Finally, see this light expanding to cover the entire planet, seeing the earth and all its inhabitants held in this compassionate, gentle, and unconditional loving glow. You have become a beacon of love for the world. Ninth, gently bring your awareness back. Bring the light back to your own heart center. Let go of the mantra. Let go of the visualization. Just sit for a few moments in the feeling, the resonance of the practice. Notice how you feel. Is there more peace, more softness, more quiet? Finally, gently open your eyes, bringing this loving awareness with you as you re-engage with your day. The miracle of Aham Prema is the profound realization that you do not need to look for love. You only need to look within. You are the source. You are the sanctuary. You are the love you have been seeking. Live from this truth, and your heart will heal itself, and in doing so, you will become a healing presence for everyone you meet. You will not need to get love because you will be too busy giving it from your own infinite, overflowing supply. Chapter 8. Creating your sacred symphony, building a daily practice. We have now journeyed through some of the most powerful and sacred words ever discovered by human consciousness. We have felt the cosmic homecoming of Om, the universal sound that connects us to the totality of existence. We have breathed with the profound simplicity of So-Hum, the natural mantra that anchors us in the power of the present moment. We have learned to wield the Aramaic command of Ephatha, the divine key that shatters the walls of our own limitations and opens us to breakthrough. And we have bathed in the healing balm of Aham Prema, the declaration that reminds us of our true nature as divine love itself. Each of these words is a powerful instrument, capable of producing a miraculous shift in your consciousness and your life. Each one is a key that can tune a specific string on the grand instrument of your being. But an instrument, no matter how magnificent, produces no music if it is left in its case. A collection of beautiful keys is useless if they are left on a hook by the door. The true magic, the alchemy that turns knowledge into wisdom and potential into reality, lies in one simple, unglamorous, yet all-important word: practice. The difference between a person who reads a book like this and feels a fleeting moment of inspiration and a person whose life is fundamentally and permanently transformed comes down to this single point. It is the difference between admiring a map and actually taking the journey. It is the difference between looking at a picture of a magnificent feast and actually sitting down to eat the nourishing food. The concepts in this book are the menu, but the daily practice is the meal. Without consistent practice, these sacred words will remain interesting intellectual ideas. With consistent practice, they become the very fabric of your reality. They cease to be something you do and become someone you are. Why is consistency so vitally important? Let us use a physical metaphor. Imagine you want to build a strong, healthy body. You go to the gym once, have an incredible 2-hour workout and push yourself to the limit. For the next day or two, you might feel sore but virtuous, but then you do not go back for a month. Will your body change? Of course not. Now imagine a different approach. Instead of one heroic workout, you commit to just 15 minutes of exercise every single day. A few push-ups, a few squats, a brisk walk. It does not seem like much on any given day. But after a month and then 3 months and then a year, the cumulative effect is astounding. Your muscles become toned, your stamina increases, your health markers improve. You have created lasting change, not through a single Herculean effort, but through the quiet, relentless power of daily consistency. Your mind and your spirit work in exactly the same way. Your brain is not a fixed object. It is a dynamic, living organ that is constantly changing and rewiring itself based on your thoughts and experiences. This is called neuroplasticity. Every time you think a thought, feel an emotion, or perform an action, you are strengthening the neural pathways in your brain associated with that experience. For most of your life, you have been unconsciously practicing and strengthening the neural pathways of worry, self-criticism, fear, and limitation. Your brain has become very, very good at being stressed and unhappy. It is like a well-worn path in a forest, the default route your mind takes automatically. A single 5-minute meditation is like taking one step off that path and into the dense undergrowth. It is a start, but as soon as you are done, your mind will naturally be pulled back to the familiar, easy path of your old habits. But when you commit to a daily practice, you are doing something profound. Every single day, you are stepping off the old, worn-out path of suffering, and you are stomping down a new trail in the forest of your mind. At first, this new path is difficult. It is overgrown and you have to consciously fight to stay on it. But with each passing day, with each repetition, the path becomes a little clearer, a little wider, a little easier to walk. You are literally forging a new neural pathway in your brain, a pathway of peace, of self-love, of connection. After weeks and months of consistent practice, this new path becomes the default. Peace becomes your natural state. Self-acceptance becomes your automatic response. You no longer have to try so hard to be calm and centered. You just are. You have rewired your own brain for joy. This is the power of consistent practice. It is not about a single lightning strike of enlightenment. It is about the gentle, persistent, and transformative power of water carving a canyon through solid rock, one drop at a time, one day at a time. This chapter is dedicated to helping you build that practice. We will move from the what and the why of these sacred words to the practical how. The goal is not to give you a rigid, one-size-fits-all dogma that you must follow perfectly. That would just create another reason to feel guilty or to fail. The goal is to provide you with a flexible framework, a set of building blocks that you can use to create a personal, sacred symphony that resonates with your unique soul and fits into your real everyday life. A practice that you can sustain is infinitely more powerful than a perfect practice that you quit after 3 days. Remember, the universe does not demand perfection. It responds to intention and consistency. Let us begin by designing what we will call the 10-minute miracle morning. Many people are intimidated by the idea of meditation because they think they need to sit in silent contemplation for an hour every day. For most people with jobs, families, and busy lives, this is simply not realistic, but almost everyone can find 10 minutes. You can wake up 10 minutes earlier. You can trade 10 minutes of scrolling through your phone for 10 minutes of nourishing your soul. This small investment of time will pay you back with dividends of peace, clarity, and resilience that will echo throughout your entire day. Think of it as charging your spiritual battery before you plug into the demands of the world. Here is a simple, 4-step framework you can adapt. Step 1. Tune in and appreciate. This takes 2 minutes. Before you do anything else, before your mind has a chance to grab onto its usual list of worries and obligations, take a moment to simply arrive in your body and connect with gratitude. As we discussed in Chapter 2, gratitude is the master key that shifts your vibration from lack to abundance. Sit on the edge of your bed, close your eyes, and take 3 deep breaths. Then bring to mind 3 specific things you are grateful for right now. Do not just list them, feel them. Feel the gratitude for the warmth of your bed. Feel the gratitude for the quiet of the morning. Feel the gratitude for the simple miracle of a body that is breathing. Feel that sense of appreciation spreading through your chest. This simple act immediately sets a positive, receptive tone. You are starting your day by telling the universe, "Thank you for what I have," which makes you a magnet for more things to be thankful for. Step 2. State your intention. This takes 1 minute. Now that you are in a receptive state, ask yourself a simple question. What miracle do I want to invite into my experience today? Remember, a miracle does not have to be a burning bush or a parting of the sea. A miracle can be a feeling of profound peace in the midst of a busy day. A miracle can be the courage to have a difficult conversation. A miracle can be a new, creative idea that helps you solve a problem. A miracle can be seeing the good in a person who usually frustrates you. State your intention clearly and simply in your mind or out loud. For example, today my intention is to remain calm and centered no matter what happens. Or today my intention is to be open to unexpected opportunities for abundance. Or today my intention is to treat myself with the same kindness I would offer a dear friend. By setting an intention, you are giving your subconscious mind and the universe a clear target to aim for. You are providing your day with a theme, a guiding principle. Step 3. Choose your word. This is the core of the practice, and it takes 5 minutes. Now you will choose one of the sacred instruments we have learned and play it for 5 minutes. This is not the time to try and use all of them at once. Pick the one that resonates most with the intention you just set. Let your intuition be your guide. For example, if your intention is to feel calm and connected, you might choose to chant Om. If your intention is to quiet your anxious thoughts and be more present with your family, you might choose the Soham breath meditation. If you are facing a specific blockage or feeling stuck in a particular area, you might choose to work with the powerful command of Ephatha. If you are struggling with self-criticism or feeling lonely, you might choose to bathe your heart in the gentle vibration of Aham Prema. Set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. This is important because it frees you from clock watching. It allows you to surrender into the practice. Then, for those 5 minutes, immerse yourself in your chosen word. If it is Om, chant it with your full voice and feel the resonance. If it is Soham, follow the rhythm of your breath. If it is Aham Prema, place your hand on your heart and feel the loving light expand. If it is Ephatha, you might spend the 5 minutes repeating the word with quiet conviction while visualizing the door you want to open. The key is focused immersion. For these 5 minutes, this word is your entire universe. Step 4. Seal it with wholeness. This takes 2 minutes. When your timer goes off, do not just jump up and start your day. Take a moment to integrate the energy you have just cultivated. This is where we can bring in the beautiful grounding energy of Shalom, which we will explore in the next chapter. For now, you can simply use the concept of it. Place your hands in a prayer position at your heart, or just let them rest on your lap. Close your practice with a feeling of deep trust and surrender. You have tuned your instrument. You have set your intention. You have sent your signal out into the universe. Now, your job is to release it. You can say a simple closing statement like, "I release this intention to the universe, and I trust that it is being answered for my highest good. Thank you. All is well." Feel a sense of completeness, of wholeness. Trust that the work you have done is enough. Trust that the miracle is already in motion. Then take one final deep breath, open your eyes, and move into your day from this new, centered, and empowered state. This entire symphony takes only 10 minutes. It is a powerful act of spiritual hygiene, as essential as brushing your teeth. It cleanses your energy field, aligns your intention, and sets you on a trajectory for a more peaceful, miraculous day. But what about the rest of the day? The world is a noisy place, and it is easy to get pulled off your center. The true mastery of this practice comes when you learn to take these tools off the meditation cushion and use them in the wild. You can learn to transform moments of stress and reactivity into moments of conscious, sacred practice. We can call these micro-dose miracles. Let us say you are driving to work and someone cuts you off aggressively. Your automatic conditioned response might be to honk, to swear, to feel a surge of angry adrenaline. Your sympathetic nervous system is instantly triggered. In that moment, you have a choice. You can follow that old, worn-out neural pathway of anger, which will poison your mood for the next hour. Or you can use it as a trigger, a bell of mindfulness. The moment you feel the anger rise, you can consciously choose a different response. You can take one deep breath and whisper, Shalom. You can send a silent wave of peace to that other driver who is clearly having a very stressful day. You can use the So-Hum mantra, breathing in So and breathing out Hum, to instantly recenter yourself. In that moment, you have just performed a miracle. You have transformed a moment of potential rage into a moment of active peace. You have refused to let the chaos of the external world dictate the state of your internal world. Let us imagine you are in a meeting at work, and your boss criticizes your idea in front of everyone. The old you might have felt a hot flush of shame, your mind spiraling into, I'm a failure. Everyone thinks I'm stupid. You might shrink in your chair, your throat closing up. This is a moment of constriction. You can use this as a trigger. Without anyone knowing, you can place your hand on your leg under the table, bring your awareness to your heart, and silently repeat, Aham Prema, I am divine love. You can remind yourself that your worth is not determined by your boss's opinion. You can breathe into your heart and affirm your own intrinsic value. This will not change what your boss said, but it will change its effect on you. You will remain centered and whole, rather than shattered and shamed. Perhaps you are facing a difficult task. You are staring at a blank page trying to write a report, and you feel completely blocked. This is the perfect time for a microdose of Ephatha. You can close your eyes for 30 seconds, visualize your mind as a locked door, and silently command, Ephatha, be opened. You can ask for the channels of creativity and clarity to be opened. This simple act can break the spell of inertia and allow new ideas to flow. You are waiting in a long line at the grocery store, feeling impatient and irritable. This is a gift of found time. Instead of pulling out your phone and numbing your mind, you can close your eyes and do a 1-minute OM meditation. You can feel the vibration in your chest and connect to the sense of universal patience. You can turn a moment of frustration into a moment of sacred connection. By weaving these microdoses of sacred practice into the fabric of your day, you begin to dissolve the separation between your spiritual life and your real life. They become one and the same. Every moment becomes an opportunity to practice. Every challenge becomes a curriculum for your soul's growth. Every difficult person becomes a teacher, showing you where you still need to heal. Your life itself becomes the prayer. It becomes the meditation. This is the path of embodiment, where you move from speaking the words to becoming the vibration. You no longer need to chant OM to feel connected, because you walk through the world with a constant underlying sense of connection. You no longer need to constantly repeat Aham Prema, because you begin to naturally act and speak from a place of self-love and compassion. The words have done their work. They have retuned your instrument so completely that your natural resting state is one of harmony. Let us create a potential weekly schedule to give you a more concrete idea of how you could structure your practice. This is just a suggestion, a starting point. Your own intuition is your best guide. Monday, the intention of connection. Your 10-minute miracle morning could focus on the chant of OM. Your microdose practices throughout the day could involve finding moments to feel your connection to nature, to other people, to the universe as a whole. Your theme for the day is unity. Tuesday, the intention of presence. Your morning practice could be a 10-minute So-Hum breath meditation. Your microdose practices would be to use the So-Hum breath as an anchor anytime you feel your mind wandering into the past or the future. Your theme for the day is being here now, Wednesday, the intention of breakthrough. If there is a specific area where you feel stuck, Wednesday could be your Ephatha day. Your morning practice could be a powerful 5-minute ritual of declaring Ephatha over that blockage. Throughout the day, You remain watchful and open for any signs of the door opening. Thursday, the intention of self-love. This is your Aham Prema day. Your morning practice is the beautiful heart-centered meditation, filling yourself with loving light first. Your microdoses throughout the day involve catching moments of self-criticism and replacing them with a silent Aham Prema. You consciously choose to treat yourself with radical kindness all day long. Friday, the intention of gratitude and peace. Your morning practice could be a simple extended gratitude practice, perhaps writing down 20 things you are grateful for. You can use Shalom as your touchstone throughout the day, bringing a sense of wholeness and peace to the end of your work week. Saturday and Sunday, integration and intuition. The weekends can be a time for a longer, more fluid practice. Perhaps a 20-minute meditation where you simply sit and see which of the sacred words arises naturally within you. Or you could take a walk in nature and make that your practice, connecting with the elements. This is your time to listen to what your soul needs, now that you have cultivated the quiet to hear it. This structure provides a beautiful balance, allowing you to work deeply with each sacred sound on a rotating basis. It prevents the practice from becoming stale and keeps you engaged. Over time, you will find that certain words are more helpful during certain periods of your life, and you can adjust your practice accordingly. The goal of this structure is not to be rigid, but to ensure that you are consistently watering all the different flowers in the garden of your soul. Your daily practice is an act of devotion to your own becoming. It is a declaration to the universe that you are a conscious and willing participant in the creation of your life. It is the most profound act of self-love you can engage in. There will be days when you do not feel like it. There will be days when your meditation feels dry and your mind is chaotic. These are the most important days to practice. Showing up on the difficult days is what builds spiritual muscle. Do not judge your practice. There is no such thing as a bad meditation. The simple act of showing up is a victory. The simple intention to connect is a prayer that is always heard. You are building a sacred symphony, and your life is the beautiful music it will produce. Be patient, be kind to yourself, and just begin. The miracle is not in the destination, it is in the daily devotion of the journey. Chapter 9. When it doesn't work. Overcoming doubt and resistance. There is a moment in every great journey, after the initial excitement has faded and the newness of the path has worn off, that is more perilous than any external obstacle. It is a quiet, internal crisis. It is the moment when you look at the map you have been given. You look at where you are and you whisper to yourself, "I think I am lost. I think this map is a lie." In the context of the spiritual path, this is the moment when you look at the sacred words you have been practicing, you look at the reality of your life, and you come to the devastating conclusion, it is not working. The OM chant that once felt like a cosmic hum now feels like a hollow noise in an empty room. The Soham mantra, which promised to anchor you in the present, feels powerless against the tidal wave of your anxiety. You have declared Ephatha with all the conviction you could muster, but the door you so desperately wanted to open has just been slammed shut in your face, perhaps even more firmly than before. You have repeated Aham Prema until your throat was dry, but you still look in the mirror and see someone you find it impossible to love. The promised miracles feel like a cruel joke. The peace is fleeting, the abundance has not arrived, and the old familiar pains are still your most constant companions. If you are in this place, or if you have ever been in this place, I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to know with absolute certainty that you are not alone. This experience is not a sign that you are broken or that you are doing it wrong. It is not proof that these ancient words are powerless. In fact, and this is the most crucial thing you will read in this entire chapter, this experience of doubt, resistance, and apparent failure is an unavoidable, necessary, and even profound part of the process. It is not a sign that you have strayed from the path. It is a sign that you have walked far enough along it to finally meet the guardian at the gate, and that guardian is your own ego. To understand this, we must first understand the nature of the ego. In this context, the ego is not your enemy. It is your oldest and most dedicated protector. The ego is the conditioned mind, the personality structure you have built over your entire lifetime to help you survive in the world. It is a complex collection of beliefs, memories, habits, and defense mechanisms. Its primary job, the only job it really cares about, is to keep you safe. And to your ego, safe means familiar. The ego is a creature of profound habit. It loves the known, even if the known is miserable. There is a strange comfort in familiar suffering. You know the rules of your own personal prison. You know where the cold spots are. You know which chains chafe the most. It is not pleasant, but it is predictable, and to the ego, predictable is always safer than the unknown. For years, perhaps your entire life, your ego has been running the show. It has been diligently strengthening the neural pathways of worry, because worrying felt like a way to prepare for potential threats. It has been reinforcing the belief, I am not good enough. Because if you believe you are not good enough, you will not take big risks. And if you do not take big risks, you cannot experience big failures. It has held on to old resentments like treasured weapons, believing that anger would protect you from being hurt again. This system, however painful, is what your ego considers normal and safe. Now here you come armed with these powerful high-frequency sacred words. You start chanting Om and connecting to a universal consciousness, which threatens the ego's sense of being a separate, special individual. You start breathing with Soham, anchoring yourself in the present moment, which threatens the ego's favorite pastimes of regretting the past and fearing the future. You start declaring Aham Prema, which directly contradicts the ego's core belief that you are flawed and unworthy of love. You start commanding Ephatha, which threatens to tear down the very walls of the prison the ego has worked so hard to maintain. From the ego's perspective, this is not a beautiful spiritual awakening. This is a hostile takeover. A stranger has broken into the house and is trying to change all the furniture. Its response is not to welcome the change, but to panic. And like any panicked guardian, it will use every tool at its disposal to fight back and restore the old familiar order. This fight is what you are experiencing as doubt and resistance. It is the ego's backlash. Let us look at the ego's favorite weapons, so you can recognize them when they are being used against you. The first and most powerful weapon is doubt. The ego will begin to whisper insidious questions in your mind, often disguised as your own rational, intelligent thoughts. Are you really just sitting here humming to yourself? Don't you have more important, practical things to do? This is just silly, magical thinking for gullible people. Look around, is anything really different? You are just wasting your time. This is the voice of the inner cynic, the part of you that is terrified of being disappointed. It would rather dismiss the possibility of a miracle altogether than to hope for one and have that hope dashed. It attacks the practice itself, trying to make you feel foolish so that you will abandon it. The second weapon is impatience. The ego is a master of the short game. It wants instant gratification. It will scream, okay, I did the Aham Prema thing for a whole week. Where is my soulmate? I declared a Ephatha over my finances yesterday, so why did I just get an unexpected bill in the mail? This is clearly not working fast enough. I need a solution now. The ego has no concept of divine timing or the natural unfolding of events. It wants to plant a seed in the morning and harvest the fruit by the afternoon. This impatience is designed to make you feel frustrated and disillusioned, to convince you that your efforts are futile, so that you will give up and return to the familiar state of hopeless resignation. The third weapon is distraction. This is one of the ego's most subtle and brilliant tactics. Have you ever sat down to meditate and suddenly you are overwhelmed with an urgent, undeniable need to clean the kitchen? Or you remember an email you absolutely must send right this minute? Or your leg starts to itch with an intensity that you are sure is a sign of a rare tropical disease? This is often the ego creating diversions. It will do anything to pull your focus away from the new, unfamiliar practice of inner peace and back towards the familiar world of doing, fixing, and worrying. It creates phantom emergencies to derail your commitment. The fourth and perhaps most painful weapon is the magnification of the negative. When you begin a spiritual practice, you are shining a bright light into the dark corners of your own consciousness. This can be disconcerting. Suddenly you might become more aware of your own negative thoughts than ever before. The ego will seize upon this and say, see, this meditation stuff is making you worse. You were happier before you started all this navel gazing. You are more anxious now, more aware of your flaws. You should stop immediately before you do any more damage. It uses your own growing self-awareness as a weapon against you, twisting a sign of progress into a justification for retreat. Let us imagine a man named James. James read about Ephatha and was filled with hope. He felt deeply stuck in his career as a graphic designer. He felt his creativity had dried up, and he was working for a company that did not value his contributions. His dream was to start his own freelance business, specializing in branding for small, ethical companies. For a week, he performed the Ephatha ritual every single night. He felt a surge of power and possibility. He updated his portfolio and sent it out to 3 potential clients he was excited about. He was sure this was it. The breakthrough was at hand. Then, over the next 2 days, he received polite rejection emails from all 3. The 3rd email arrived on a Friday afternoon, and it broke him. He slumped in his chair, and the ego's voice, which had been quiet for a week, came back with a vengeance. "You see?" it hissed. "I told you. You are not good enough, Ephatha. What a joke, you shouted a magic word in your living room and you thought that would change reality? You are a fool. Your work is mediocre. Those other designers are better than you. You are destined to stay in this dead-end job forever. Just accept it. It is safer here anyway. At least you get a regular paycheck. Stop dreaming, stop trying. It only leads to disappointment." James was crushed. The hope he had felt was replaced by an even deeper despair than before. He felt foolish and ashamed. He deleted the Ephatha chapter from his audiobook and decided to just watch television and forget the whole thing. The ego had won. The old familiar prison of "I'm not good enough" had been successfully defended. What James did not realize, and what you must realize, is that this backlash, this apparent failure, was not the end of the story. It was the moment of greatest potential. The fact that the ego was fighting so hard, that the feeling of disappointment was so acute, was direct evidence that the practice had been working. It had stirred things up. It had threatened the old order. The intensity of the resistance is proportional to the magnitude of the shift you are trying to make. A small change might elicit a small grumble from the ego. A life-altering transformation will provoke an all-out war. So the first step in overcoming this is to reframe it. When the doubt comes, when the impatience screams, when the disappointment hits, I want you to learn to smile and say to yourself, hello there, resistance. I have been expecting you. The fact that you are here and that you are so loud tells me that I am on the right track. Thank you for showing me how powerful this work truly is. You must stop seeing resistance as a stop sign and start seeing it as a milestone. It is confirmation that your sacred words are having a profound effect on your energetic system. You are shaking the very foundations of your old reality, and the ego is screaming because the walls are starting to crumble. This leads us to the second great misunderstanding that fuels our doubt, our concept of the word instant. The title of this book speaks of attracting miracles instantly. This is a profound truth, but it is a truth that is almost always misinterpreted by the impatient ego. The miracle that is truly instant is the internal one. The moment you choose to shift your focus from a spiraling, anxious thought to the simple rhythm of so hum, you have instantly created a miracle of peace in your own nervous system. The moment you respond to a feeling of self-loathing with a heartfelt aham prema, you have instantly performed a miracle of self-love. The moment you declare Ephatha, you have instantly shifted your energetic posture from one of contracted fear to one of expansive faith. This internal shift is the real miracle. It is the only part of the process you have 100% control over. And it happens in an instant. The external world, however, has a different rhythm. The physical world is much denser than the world of thought and energy. It has an element of inertia. It has a built-in time delay. The external manifestation of your new internal reality has a gestation period. A gardener plants a carrot seed. The potential for the carrot is locked within that seed. But the gardener does not get a carrot instantly. She must trust the process that is happening unseen beneath the soil. She must continue to water the ground. She knows that the seed is swelling, that a root is pushing its way down, that a shoot is fighting its way up. She does not dig up the seed every day to check on its progress, for that would kill it. She holds the faith that the life within the seed is responding to the nourishment she provides. and that in its own perfect time, the carrot will be ready to be harvested. Your intentions and your sacred words are the seeds you plant in the fertile soil of the universe. Your daily practice is the water. The external miracle, the new job, the healed relationship, the financial abundance is the carrot. The ego wants to plant the seed and pull up a carrot 5 minutes later. When that does not happen, it declares the seed to be defective and the entire process a sham. The path of wisdom is to understand that your work is to plant the seed with clear intention, to water it daily with the faith of your practice, and then to let go and trust the invisible process of germination. You must surrender the when and the how to a wisdom that is far greater than your ego's limited perspective. This is the principle of divine timing. The universe's timing is always perfect, even when it makes no sense to our logical minds. Let us go back to James, the graphic designer. What he did not know was that the first company he applied to had a notoriously toxic work environment, and he would have been miserable there. The second company was financially unstable and was about to lay off half its staff. The third company simply had a founder whose vision did not truly align with James's own passion for ethical branding. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, did not give him what he thought he wanted, because it was in the process of bringing him something so much better. The rejections were not failures. They were divine protections. They were the universe clearing the path. A week later, after wallowing in his disappointment, James's friend from college called him out of the blue. The friend was launching a new organic food company and had been looking for a freelance designer. He had seen James's updated portfolio online, which James had only created because of his Ephatha practice, and was blown away. The project was a perfect fit for James's passion and his skills. It was a bigger and better opportunity than any of the three he had been rejected for. The door that opened was one he did not even know existed. But it could only open after the other 3 doors had been firmly closed. If James had gotten the first job he applied for, he would have been unavailable for the opportunity that was truly meant for him. This is why we must learn to let go of what I call spiritual micromanaging. Our ego creates a very specific, detailed plan of how our miracle should unfold. I will say this mantra, then this person will call me, then this opportunity will appear, and then I will be happy. We try to control every step of the process. We are like a person who orders a meal in a 5-star restaurant and then runs into the kitchen to tell the master chef how to chop the vegetables and what temperature to set the oven. It is insulting to the chef, and it completely disrupts the creative process. Your job is to place your order with clarity and conviction. Your job is to sit back at your table and trust that the chef knows exactly what they are doing. Your job is to enjoy the water and the breadsticks, to remain in a state of grateful and patient expectation. The universe is the master chef. When you chant your sacred words, you are placing your order. When you try to force a specific outcome on a specific timeline, you are running into the kitchen and getting in the way. It is the ultimate act of distrust, and it creates a tremendous amount of resistance that actually slows down the delivery of your miracle. So what are the practical steps you can take when you find yourself in the grip of doubt and resistance? How do you navigate this perilous but essential stage of the journey? First, acknowledge, do not fight. When the voice of doubt starts whispering in your ear, do not try to argue with it. You cannot win an argument with your own mind. Fighting the thoughts only gives them more energy. Instead, treat them like a whining child in the backseat of a car. You do not get into a long debate with the child. You simply acknowledge them and then return your focus to driving. You can say internally, there's that "this is silly" thought again. Thank you for your input. And then you gently, firmly return your attention to your mantra or your breath. You are not trying to silence the ego. You are simply choosing not to give it your focus. You are signaling that you are the one driving the car now. Second, keep an evidence journal. Your ego is an expert at magnifying the negative and completely ignoring the positive. You must consciously counteract this tendency by becoming a detective for evidence that your practice is working. Get a notebook and call it your miracle log or your evidence journal. Every single day, write down at least one piece of evidence, no matter how small, that things are shifting. Did you find a perfect parking spot right at the front of the store? Write it down. Did a friend call you right when you were thinking of them? Write it down. Did you handle a stressful situation with a little more calm than you usually would? Write it down. Did you have a moment of genuine, unforced laughter? Write it down. This practice trains your brain's reticular activating system, the part that filters information, to start looking for and noticing the good. You will be astonished at how many small miracles and synchronicities are already happening in your life that you were simply not tuned in to see. Reading this journal during moments of doubt is a powerful antidote to the ego's lies. Third, return to the body. The ego lives in the abstract world of past and future thoughts. Your body lives in the concrete reality of the present moment. When you are caught in a spiral of doubt, the fastest way out is through your physical senses. Feel your feet planted firmly on the floor. Place your hand on your heart and feel its steady beat. Take a drink of water and feel the coolness as it goes down your throat. Go outside and feel the sun on your skin or the wind on your face. This brings you out of the story in your head and back into the truth of the now. In the now, in the physical reality of this very moment, you are okay. The doubt cannot survive in the simple sensory reality of the present. Fourth, adjust the practice, but do not abandon it. If your 10-minute morning practice has started to feel like a monumental battle, give yourself permission to adjust. Go back to 5 minutes, or even just 1 minute. The goal is to maintain the thread of consistency. It is better to do one conscious, so hum breath than to do nothing at all because you feel overwhelmed by the idea of a longer practice. On days when you feel deep resistance, be gentle with yourself. Perhaps your practice for that day is simply to lie on the floor and listen to a piece of beautiful music. That is still a way of raising your vibration. The key is to not let the ego win by convincing you to abandon the entire project. Just do something, no matter how small, to signal your continued commitment to your own well-being. Finally, surrender with radical faith. There comes a point where you have done all you can do. You have practiced, you have acknowledged your doubts, you have looked for the evidence. Now, you must simply let go. You must hand the entire situation over to the infinite intelligence of the universe. A powerful practice for this moment of surrender is to visualize the issue that is causing you so much pain. See it as a small dark object in your hands. Then visualize yourself standing before a vast, beautiful ocean. With a deep breath, you gently toss the object into the ocean. You watch it disappear into the boundless water without a trace, and you walk away, trusting that the immense power of the ocean will know exactly how to dissolve, transform, and resolve the issue in a way that is perfect and whole. This is an act of supreme faith. It is the recognition that your small mind does not need to have all the answers. Navigating the terrain of doubt and resistance is the advanced course in spiritual practice. It is where you earn your stripes. It is the fire that tempers the steel of your soul. Do not fear it. Do not despair when it arrives. Welcome it as a sign of your own progress. See it as an opportunity to deepen your faith, to practice unconditional self-love, and to learn the profound and liberating art of surrender. The night is always darkest just before the dawn. The resistance is always loudest just before the breakthrough. Hold on. Trust the process. Keep watering the seeds. The carrot is growing right on schedule. Chapter 10. Living the Miracle. From speaking the word to becoming the word. The journey we have taken together through this book has been a process of retuning a magnificent and precious instrument, you. We began by understanding that you are not a solid, static object, but a being of pure energy and vibration. We then worked to clear away the static of old limiting beliefs and the heavy weight of unforgiveness. Then we began the sacred work of retuning the strings. We used the primordial sound of OM to tune you to the frequency of universal connection. We used the gentle rhythm of Soham to tune you to the profound peace of the present moment. We used the sharp commanding power of Fatha to snap the rusted strings of limitation and stagnation. And we used the warm, resonant hum of Aham Prema to tune you to the sublime, healing frequency of divine love. The ultimate goal of this entire process, however, is not to create a person who is very good at tuning their instrument. The goal is to tune the instrument so perfectly, so consistently, that it holds its tune naturally. The goal is to move from a state of consciously creating miracles to a state of unconsciously living as one. It is the final, beautiful, and most profound stage of the journey, the stage of embodiment. Embodiment means that the practice is no longer something you do for 10 minutes in the morning. It has become the very essence of who you are. The truth of the sacred words has migrated from your intellectual mind, which understands the concepts, down into your heart, which feels the truth, and finally, it has settled into your very bones, into every cell of your body, becoming your natural default state of being. You no longer need to constantly remind yourself to be peaceful, because you have become peace. You no longer need to affirm that you are love, because you radiate love as effortlessly as the sun radiates light. You have moved from speaking the word to becoming the word. Your life itself becomes the prayer. Your very presence becomes the mantra. This is the ultimate miracle, not the attraction of things or the manipulation of circumstances, but the complete and total transformation of the self. Let us explore what this state of embodiment looks like for each of the sacred vibrations we have learned. This is the after picture. This is the vision of the fully realized you that is waiting to emerge. This is not a distant, impossible fantasy. This is your destiny, should you choose to continue the practice and walk the path. First, let us look at the embodiment of Om. In the beginning, you chanted Om to feel a sense of connection, to combat the painful illusion of separation and loneliness. It was an exercise you performed to achieve a state. The embodied person no longer needs the chant to feel connected. They walk through the world in a constant, lived experience of unity. The illusion of separation has been seen for what it is, a trick of the mind, and it has lost its power. When this person looks at another human being, whether it is their beloved partner or a stranger on the street, they do not just see a separate other. They see a reflection of the same universal consciousness that animates them. They see God in a different disguise. This makes judgment and hatred impossible. How can you judge another when you know, on a cellular level, that you are judging a part of yourself? Instead, there is an automatic, effortless sense of empathy and compassion. When this person walks in nature, they do not just see a collection of trees and rocks. They feel the life force in the tree as their own life force. They feel the ancient wisdom in the rocks as their own wisdom. They are in a constant, silent conversation with all of life. The feeling of loneliness becomes a distant, illogical memory. How can you be lonely when you know that you are intimately connected to everything that exists? This person is a walking, talking antidote to the world's pain of separation. Their very presence reminds others of their own connection, not through words, but through the calm, centered, unified field of energy they emit. They have become the living vibration of Om. Next, let us look at the embodiment of Soham. In the beginning, you used the Soham mantra as a tool, an anchor to pull your frantic mind out of the past and the future and back into the present moment. It was a rescue operation, performed countless times a day. The embodied person lives naturally in the present moment. The monkey mind, the default mode network that was once the noisy dictator of their consciousness, has become a quiet and helpful servant. It is no longer the default. The new default is a state of calm, open, and receptive awareness. This person is no longer a ghost in their own life, haunted by regret or tormented by anxiety. They are fully, vibrantly here. Because they are here, their senses are alive. Food tastes more delicious. Music sounds more profound. The colors of the world seem brighter, as if someone has turned up the saturation dial. They listen to others with their full attention, not waiting for their turn to speak, but truly hearing what is being said. This makes them incredibly charismatic and a source of great comfort to those around them. People feel truly seen and heard in their presence. Because they are not worried about the future, they are free to respond to the needs of the moment with creativity and wisdom. Because they are not burdened by the past, they are light and spontaneous. They have escaped the prison of time and have taken up residence in the spacious, eternal mansion of the now. They do not need to practice Soham because their every breath has become a silent, joyful affirmation of I am that. Then let us look at the embodiment of Ephatha. In the beginning, you used Ephatha as a powerful command, a spiritual battering ram to break down the doors of your own limitations. It was an act of focused, intentional force used for specific blockages. The embodied person no longer needs to force doors open because they have become an open door themselves. The state of contraction and fear has been replaced by a default state of expansive trust and openness. Because they are perpetually open, life flows to them and through them with incredible ease. They do not have to chase opportunities. Opportunities seem to find them. Synchronicities become a daily, normal occurrence. They will think of a friend, and that friend will call. They will have a question, and the answer will appear in a book they randomly open. This is not because they are lucky. It is because they are no longer broadcasting the resistant, constricted frequency of stuckness. They are broadcasting a clear, open signal of yes to the universe, and the universe responds in kind. Furthermore, they become a catalyst for opening in others. Their open-mindedness allows others to feel safe to express their own unconventional ideas. Their open-heartedness allows others to be vulnerable and authentic. They become a walking permission slip for others to be more open too. They do not need to command be opened because they are a living demonstration of what an open life looks like. Finally, let us explore the embodiment of Aham Prema. This is perhaps the most beautiful transformation of all. In the beginning, you used Aham Prema as a medicine, a healing balm to apply to the deep, painful wound of unworthiness. It was an affirmation you used to counteract the loud, critical voice of your inner judge. The embodied person no longer has an inner judge. That voice has been transformed into an inner mentor, a wise and unconditionally loving guide. The core belief of I am not enough has been completely and permanently overwritten with the profound cellular knowledge of I am divine love. Because they are filled from within, they stop seeking validation, approval, and love from the outside world. This makes them incredibly powerful and free. They are no longer a beggar for love, so they can engage in relationships from a place of wholeness and generosity. They love for the pure joy of loving, not to get something in return. Their love is not a transaction. It is a gift. They are able to set healthy boundaries with ease, not out of anger, but out of a deep self-respect. They say no when they need to, because they know that betraying themselves is not a loving act. Their cup is so full of self-love that it is constantly overflowing, and everyone around them benefits from this overflow. They are not trying to be loving. They simply are love in action. They become a safe harbor for others, a warm fire where people can come to thaw their own frozen hearts. They are a walking, talking radiator of divine love, and they heal the world simply by being themselves. Imagine our friend Eleanor, the people pleaser, a few years down the road. She has continued her daily practice. The woman who once could not even look at herself in the mirror without cringing now starts her day with a quiet smile of self-recognition. She is no longer in the relationship with the man from her art class, not because it ended badly, but because they both grew and their paths diverged, and they were able to part with love and gratitude, a concept that would have been alien to her old self. She now runs her own small business, teaching therapeutic art workshops for troubled teens. She is not a rescuer, but she holds a space of such profound, non-judgmental love and acceptance that the teenagers in her presence naturally begin to open up and heal. She is not trying to fix them. She is simply being the vibration of Aham Prema, and they are healing themselves in her presence. Her life is not free from challenges, but her response to them has been transformed. She meets every situation not with, "What does this mean about me?" but with, "What is the most loving way I can respond to this?" She has become the love she was once so desperately seeking. This state of embodiment is the true heaven on earth. It is the pearl of great price. It is the discovery of the kingdom of heaven that lies within you. When you reach this state, you understand the ultimate secret of miracles. You stop trying to attract them because you realize that you are the miracle. A being who is fully connected, fully present, fully open, and fully loving is a walking miracle. The world cannot help but rearrange itself around such a being in beautiful and harmonious ways. This is not a violation of natural law. It is the fulfillment of a higher, more potent law, the law of resonance. You have become such a pure, clear, high-frequency signal that the universe has no choice but to respond with experiences that match your vibration. The final realization on this path is the deep understanding of the ripple effect. Your transformation is not just for you. Every time you choose peace over anxiety, you are adding to the collective peace of the planet. Every time you choose self-love over self-criticism, you are making it a little easier for someone else to love themselves. Every time you embody your connection to all of life, you are helping to heal the illusion of separation that is the root of all the world's conflicts. You are a stone dropped in the pond of human consciousness, and your ripples of peace, love, and unity extend out in ways you can never fully comprehend. By doing your own inner work, by committing to your own healing and transformation, you are performing the most profound service to the world that is possible. You are helping to awaken humanity, one peaceful breath, one loving thought at a time. So, where do you go from here? This book is not a destination, it is a doorway. The words on these pages are just signposts, pointing you back to the infinite wisdom that already exists within you. The journey is not over. In a sense, it is just beginning. Your work now is to take these tools, these sacred instruments, and to play them. Play them every day. Play them with devotion. Play them with sincerity. Play them on the days you feel joyful and on the days you feel despair. Forge those new neural pathways. Build that new home for your consciousness. Do not be discouraged by the resistance. Do not be dismayed by the time it takes. You are engaged in the most important work a human being can do, the work of remembering who you truly are. You are a creator. You are a divine being of light and love, temporarily forgetting itself in a human dream. These ancient words are your alarm clock. They are the call to wake up from the dream of fear and limitation and to step into the magnificent reality of your own divinity. The power was never in this book. It was always within you. These words did not give you anything you did not already have. They simply helped you to unlock your own treasure, to hear your own music, to remember your own name. Go forth and live the miracle that you are. Thank you for joining me on this sacred journey into the heart of sound and the soul of creation. The path does not end here. If you wish to continue receiving guidance, to access a library of guided meditations based on these principles, and to join a community of fellow travelers on this path, I warmly invite you to subscribe to our newsletter and online platform.